Please take the time to visit podsurvey.com/peasants to complete a short 21-question survey. Participants in the survey will be entered into a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card. The survey can be taken multiple times, so feel free to visit back each month for your chance to enter the drawing. Please help to support the show by using our Amazon links located in the description anytime you purchase anything from Amazon. It's a great way to support the show while just going about your normal business shopping on Amazon.com. Also, check out our storefront for Drunken Peasants recommended merchandise. Patreon pledges of $5 or more will now receive 2 private shows each month. In addition to the private shows, Patreon pledges of $10 or more will receive the Drunken Peasants post show after each episode of the Drunken Peasants, Ben and Billy's monthly shitty movie review, and regular behind-the-scenes vlogs with Ben and Billy. Sign up anytime to catch the future shows as well as past content. If you want to catch the post shows but you're not a patron, click the join link below this video to become a member of the Drunken Peasants channel. In addition to each post show, you'll also get special badges and emojis that you can use in the Drunken Peasants live chat. Streamlabs will be open for the duration of each episode. Click the link below to send us a message. Donations $20 and above will be read out through text-to-speech and will require our immediate attention. All donations below $20 will be read at the end of each segment. Keep an eye out for our weekly Streamlabs goal, which if we meet, we will do an extra show the following week. If you find any content you'd like to see us cover on the show, send it to drunkenpeasantsinbox@gmail.com. All submissions will be reviewed for possible usage in a future episode. Click the Discord link in our description to join the Drunken Peasants Discord. Interact with other Drunken Peasants fans in text and voice chat, as well as the peasants themselves. Visit the Google Play Store and download the Drunken Peasants app to catch the audio version of the show while you're on the road. In addition to the app, the audio-only version of the show is also available through iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, SoundCloud, and other audio platforms. That's all we have for now. Enjoy the show.
Drunken Peasants Podcast.
I gotta get with this.
Say, man, you got a joint? No, not on you now. It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
From the strangest corners of the internet, here to bring you opinions of the world from an altered perspective. Here are your hosts, the Drunken Peasants.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Drunken Peasants Podcast, episode 499.
99? That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, it is a lot. And our 500th episode is actually coming up this Saturday.
Should we just stop like today? Make it the last one?
No.
Okay. Figured I'd throw it out there.
I think Jimmy asked a good question at the top. He asked that one moment when you're like projectile vomit. Are you actually like vomiting there?
Yeah. That was the Spin Till You Spew private show.
Yeah, we have these drinking/trivia contests, and me and him battled it out for 6 hours until he just projectile vomited all over himself.
I think it was a good 6 hours of straight drinking, and then I had 4 shots of tequila in a row in like a matter of like a minute.
Because you spun a double, so you had to do a double shot.
So bad, and it triggered all my vomit, and I didn't have time to get a bucket. I just luckily have a big gut, so it spilled on my stomach. But yeah,
I've only projectile vomited once in my life, like a true Linda Blair style projectile vomit. And I was on the New York City subway, and it was right as the doors were about to open. It was around Christmas time. And I just projectile vomited. I had all this Jägermeister, which I no longer drink because of this event. But anyway, as the doors opened, like you could see the strands of my vomit separating like this goop. And there was like a black homeless man. I'm pretty sure he was homeless in a Santa Claus suit. And he went, "Man, that that is disgusting.
He wasn't wrong.
Yeah, so that was the day I swore off drinking Jägermeister, right?
I think you gave up too soon.
2 shots since then, but not many.
I've definitely puked out of like a bus door as it was opening. Like I used to. I think I was an alcoholic. Maybe not an alcoholic, but I used to party with alcoholics.
I mean, you were featured on TV for vomiting in a pro wrestling match.
I've had, yeah.
So.
That wasn't even alcohol though. That was just water. But it was vomit.
Dore, Jimmy, do you have any vomit stories to regale us with?
No, none that I can. No, I do have a. I have plenty of almost shit myself stories.
Almost though.
Well, I remember the one time I was driving out to Riverside to do a stand-up set at the Choke Cherry Festival, and I was opening up for I was doing a set in front of a Fleetwood Mac tribute band.
Nice.
And by the way, people lined up to get their autograph after. And I'm like, you guys know that's not the real.
It's not Stevie Nicks.
And one time when I was in Indianapolis, my brother lives there. He took us to see a John Denver impersonator. You know who John Denver is?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And so afterwards, he was selling his own CDs of John Denver songs. I'm like, why wouldn't you just buy the fucking John Denver CD?
Country Road.
So anyway, I was driving out to the Choke Cherry Festival, and I had to take a shit, and I had about 20 miles to go, and I'm like, I'll make it. I can make this. Right? So what I didn't count on was that the closer I got to the Choke Cherry Festival, the more traffic there would be, to the point where it stopped. Traffic stopped, and I've got a shit. And so I didn't really know what to do. So I ran. There was a bush. And I ran and I stood in the bush and I shit. I took my pants down just in time, but it didn't all the way. It got shit on my underwear. So I had to take my underwear off and leave them there. And I had to go, I had to go commando the rest of the night, did my show. It wasn't good. But it wasn't a solid shit. It was a horrible shit too. That's the thing. It was like this. It was like I was, you ever see like a polar bear shit? It was like that, like a splat. It wasn't good.
I've definitely had to run a few times because of those, but I've always made it, luckily.
Oh, I've had so many shit myself stories.
Well, when you say made it, you mean made it to a toilet or made it with your pants? Okay, I didn't. Where's one? Can I tell you one other time?
Sure.
Yeah.
When I was doing comedy in Chicago, I was driving home to my house, and I lived in a regular neighborhood, and I had to shit so bad. I'm like, I can make it. And then I almost was like a mile away. I'm like, I wonder if I'm going to make it. And I got literally to like a block away from my house. And I had to stop, get out, pull my pants. I could see my house from where I was sitting. I'm like, I'm almost home. Why do I have to do this? It's humiliating. Anyway, so those are my 2 good shit stories.
I once actually broke up with a girl because she shat her pants. I mean, it was sort of like I didn't really like she
in front
it was
of
a
you?
mutual thing. Like she felt ashamed. Like just the spark was gone once she shat herself in front of me. like basically we had been dating for like 2 weeks, and she got super drunk. She passed out on her couch, and she was asleep in front of me. And all of a sudden, I started hearing these just like nasty farts, and they were just like you knew it was they were not farts, they were commonly known as sharts. And it was just like one after the other. It was just like and I mean this seriously went on for like a couple of minutes, and I was just like watching this in horror. And had this been a girl that I don't know, that I'd been in love with for like a couple of years, I would have braved it out. But it was just not a good way to start a relationship.
Is there a point in a relationship for you where you'd be cool with your significant other just taking a dump on the toilet right in front of you?
I'd like to think so. I mean, sometimes we're not our best selves when we're shit-faced. But it's sort of like something that I think one has to work up to naturally inside of a relationship. Like you can't just all of a sudden be cool with that, unless I don't know, unless they're like a perfect 10 and have like just every quality that you want in a woman. You know, she was cool, but she just wasn't that cool that I could get over her shitting her pants. And so I basically picked her up and brought her to her bed because she was too drunk. And you know, it stunk like hell. And in the morning, she woke up and we didn't speak about it, but she must have known that I knew because she moved from the couch to her bed, and she must have known that I took her there. And she knew that I knew that she shat herself. It was never spoken about, and from that day forward, we didn't really see very much of each other. But we had spent about like 2.5 weeks solid, like every day up until that point, and just her shitting her pants just killed it.
I think I pissed myself in bed with a girl once, but I'm not sure because we were both sleeping, right? It could have been her, but I woke up first. So I just put it on her. I was like, hey, you know what? Need to go take a shower.
I actually do have a relatively short puke story.
All right.
Where
let's get all the fluid out now.
I was at a concert, and there was a bunch of people there, and it was like a rock concert, so people were like moshing and shit.
Yeah.
And there was one guy there who was just totally wasted. He was drinking all night, and you know, by the end of the night, he's stumbling around everywhere. And this guy is trying to slam dance with everybody, and someone met him in the center, and they ran into each other, and the drunk guy got hit in the gut, and he just puked all over the ground, and all these other people start coming through, and they start slipping and falling in the puke.
Oh, no.
And in the end, there's like 10 people just totally covered in puke.
Oh my God.
Around.
I don't think you ever work up to a comfortableness of smelling someone else's shit. In fact, I had to put a second toilet in my house so I could save my marriage. Otherwise, you know, we go to dinner together. We're eating at the same time. We're coming home. We both have to shit, and then I have to let her shit first, and then I have to go in after. That's no good.
You can't do that.
That's no good.
Yeah.
And then if she lets me shit first, then that's no good for anybody who's coming after me. So I had to get a second toilet. And we put it in our laundry room, and I call that the marriage saver.
Wow, I'm glad that this Dore episode has just started in the classiest way possible.
It's classy. This is about saving a marriage. What's classier than marriage?
It's right. Hey, maybe you
did it all for love.
Maybe you can't handle the truth.
Exactly. See, I'm the opposite though. Like, I know how gross I am, so I have to take a dump in front of a girl on the first date just so we don't waste our time.
Is that like?
I couldn't be friends with you if you took a dump in front of me. That's how much I can't stand it.
I'll make sure not to poop in front of you now that we have our limits.
Okay.
We put up our walls. We'll never have that connection where you watch me dump and stare into my eyes.
I'm gonna start the news segment and play the intro for it.
Okay.
And then we can easily move away from the poop.
Let's just move away. Step away from the stench.
Oh no! Puking dog! I forgot! We can't! And there's puking dog again. I'm starting to notice a theme on this show.
Yeah.
It took me 499 episodes.
Should episode
God
500?
bless that puking dog.
Should we retire Puking Dog in episode 500?
Around the election on this show, we were actually joking around about Puking Dog for president 2 years ago. And then literally enough people wrote in Puking Dog that there was a news story somewhere that reported that people had voted for Puking Dog. So,
no.
Yes.
It was a good option at the time.
Jimmy, would you have voted for Puking Dog over Hillary?
Yes.
Thought so.
Without even a doubt.
You know, I think Puking Dog should run against creationists.
There was even art.
Election.
There was like this kind of art. Vote for Puking Dog for president.
That the third one in is beautiful. I would wear that on
this
face tattoo.
Yeah. So let's see what we got here. Oh, I have a story about the straw ban
in Seattle.
Yeah.
It's big news.
Drink and be merry. A special edition of Sunday morning. Here again
Hold on, let's skip.
And Tony DeCopel is just back from a town doing something about it.
You don't think much about a straw. That is, of course, until it fails you.
Do they ban straws where you live, Jimmy?
No, I don't think they've done that, but I did buy 4 metal straws
To
that I
reuse?
use. They're pretty badass. Yeah.
Yeah, mainly what we'll find out here are the paper ones, and then they make these kind that look like plastic, but they're not, or they're like biodegradable plastic substitute.
Is this Bill Nye?
No, it's some other guy with a bow tie.
I work for a little teeny bit.
Right.
In Seattle, Bob Donegan and his team at Ivar's and Kid Valley restaurants have spent hundreds of hours testing straws.
We have paper straws, we have plastic straws from plants, we have...
All this because millions of plastic straws end up as litter, often in the oceans.
They don't even have plastic shopping bags at the grocery stores that I go to anymore. They got rid of those too.
You got to pay a nickel for them.
Yeah.
I miss pollution.
Yeah. This past summer, Seattle became the largest city in America to address this problem.
Yeah.
By banning plastic straws in restaurants and replacing them with compostable or paper options.
The tourists are amused by this. They think this is...
It's true, because I live in Seattle and my family lives in Ohio, and like my parents are like, that's so weird, you know?
I got this straw from Seattle and it feels like it's plastic.
Is it real?
I think it's real. They must be breaking the law.
They must I wonder if the law allows them to use the rest of their inventory.
Maybe. It's Chipotle. I feel like...
Okay.
Yeah. I actually have a friend, he's disabled, and he was interviewed for this, and they cut him from the segment because, like, he brought a negative spin on the straw ban because he's disabled and he can't drink a fucking soda without a straw.
They cut someone...
They cut his piece out because he was disabled.
For this?
Yeah, he's like this little white rapper kid in a wheelchair. His rap name's Disability. And he was like talking about how now that they don't have straws in places, he can't drink because he can't move his arms or hands or neck or anything. He needs the straw.
A great adventure. What is this about? How come I can't suck your milkshake through this straw? Well, the straws that work aren't compostable, so that's why. Oh, it becomes an education opportunity.
And if you ask environmental advocate Dune Ives, the straw is only the beginning.
So the straw is a symbol. It's a token, as you put it.
Yes.
It's a symbol of what?
It's a symbol of our consumption. It's a symbol of our relationship to single-use plastic that has no end of life. You cannot recycle straws.
Ives is executive director of Lone...
Now I'm like, hey, this... Now that you told me that there was someone who showed an opposition to it and they cut them out, I'm like, man, this just sucks now. I was waiting for someone to be against it.
Well, I mean, maybe they have something else, but I don't think they wanted to pull in the disabled community against the straw ban. It hit too hard. There's probably one guy here who's just spilling his drink at the bar and he's complaining because...
Are there straws in the bag?
Yes.
The truth is, the plastic straw is just part of the throwaway packaging involved in eating on the go.
5 drinks, 3 straws?
All right, I'm moving on to another video. This is dumb.
Whatever. This is saving the planet, Benjamin.
I gotta say, I loved the rash around the time that this became a hot topic. I love the rash of tweets that came from people like Kaya Jones, like just Republicans kind of drinking with straws, saying like, this tastes delicious, and then it said like hashtag sucking from straws to own the libs, or things like that. So fucking dumb.
Jimmy, you endorsed the metal straws, right? Like that's not a bad gimmick right there.
I feel like the Terminator when I'm drinking out of a metal straw.
See, I want one now.
Sometimes
it gets really
hurt
cold.
Your teeth, don't you forget that that you're sucking on something metallic and
never. No.
Okay.
It never. Why? And what would be the consequence if I forgot it was metallic?
I don't know. You just you hurt your teeth. I would think.
I don't bite the straw. I suck.
Yeah, are you one of those straw biters?
See, I'm a biter. I chew the shit out of my straws.
Well, you need a metal straw more than any of us, then, don't you?
What's that? Yeah.
You're eating plastic straws, Vadim. You need help. You need a metal straw.
I'm going to go and use the Amazon link.
Want to see my pens. My pens are chewed to death. Not just by me, but by the cats as well.
So you have an oral asphyxiation.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can get over that. We'll teach you. I'm going to use the Amazon link below to buy some metal straws. Just the time for
send
Christmas.
some to Vadim. You know,
I'm gonna send you some, Vadim.
Vadim's prone to knocking his own. Vadim's prone to knocking his own teeth out too. So that's just maybe he does it.
It has happened.
Yeah.
I have done it on video.
Vadim gives terrible toothy blowjobs. Says Mick Hitler in the chat.
Oh, what a great name!
Thank you, Mick Hitler.
I'm sorry, Mick Hitler. I really scraped you up. Bad.
Yeah.
Bad me.
But I do think that more people should get into the metal straw movement. If Jimmy supports them, that makes me want to do it. I never thought of it before until, somebody who I actually know uses them. I figured they'd be a nuisance.
Badass. It's pretty badass when someone comes over to your house and you offer them a drink and you give them a metal straw. They're like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" Right? Yeah. So that's really why I do it.
I wonder if they have a telescoping metal straw that I could keep on a keychain and then pull it out and then telescope it out. And have it there.
Almost like an antenna?
Yeah, like an antenna straw so that I can carry it around with me and not feel like I have to have this long fucking protruding thing
that
poking.
needs to be a as seen on TV infomercial. There's got to be a better way.
I bet
they have to have them, right?
Probably.
They gotta have. How could they not have an antenna straw?
Yeah. I think I probably used one 20 years ago and forgot.
They do have those straws that are kind of plastic bendy, and they kind of they're like an accordion.
Oh, I could get a bendy straw and wrap it around one of my appendages, and then when I need it, I just whip it out, and it's nice, ready to go.
I remember when I was a kid and I came across my first bendy straw, and I was like, "This is the most genius invention of all time," because that really is a problem,
It is.
They're super impressive.
It is for me.
Watching your chocolate milk spin around before it goes in your mouth, it's better than sex when you're a kid.
So now we're taking it to a dark place.
True.
This story someone just sent me earlier today. Underage girl auctioned for marriage on Facebook. Is this... Have you heard of this?
Is Zuckerberg getting a piece of this?
No, I have not.
Last
I'm
night on
skeptical
Facebook,
this
this
is real.
tech giant is under fire after the social network was used to auction a child bride in South Sudan. Facebook says the post was taken down as soon as the company learned of it, but that only came after the girl was already married.
Damn it.
More now from CNN's Sander Work.
Sorry.
So is this CNN? I'm sure there's truth to this story, but is this CNN being don't go to Facebook to get your news? They auction off child brides there. Get your news from CNN instead.
It's a newsworthy story.
Yeah, this is a good story.
There might be something to what you're saying.
Well, yeah. I mean, the title of the video makes it seem like Facebook just let it happen and was okay with it. I don't know.
Well, it's funny that this could happen and the girl could be married off and then Facebook figures out about it. That kind of sucks, right? What could Facebook do before they find out about it? But
how long was the auction? Maybe it was real quick, like $1 million sold off. Now we're off. That was it. Maybe it was that quick.
Yeah.
Barbaric use of technology. That's how humanitarian organization Plan International is describing the auction to marry a girl in South Sudan who they say is just 16 years old. All this carried out via Facebook. The girl's father reportedly received 500.
I'm pretty sure there's some states in the United States where 16-year-olds can get married.
Oh, there it totally is. This is 500 cows. The fact there was an auction on Facebook for fucking 500 cows. What else though? How do you transfer the 500 cows online? Is that possible? Is there a deed of cow sale?
Cows. They're bit cows.
A bit cow.
I like that.
But seriously though, the fucked up thing is that okay, it happened on Facebook, but this would have happened somehow without the use of the internet if it didn't exist.
Yeah,
that's that in itself is fucked up.
I just want to know what part of Facebook this was in so I could check it out myself. I don't have 500 cows, but one day.
Honestly, though, 16 isn't underage in a lot of countries around the world. I thought they were going to say she was 9 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's weird that humans are being auctioned off for property. That's definitely really weird.
It's kind of a regular occurrence, though, in a lot of cultures. That's what dowries have always been about.
It's weird to me.
Cows, 3 cars, and $10,000 in exchange for his daughter. The post was originally published on Facebook on October 25th, but Facebook didn't become aware of it until November 9th. 15 days later, the social network has taken down the post, and a spokesperson tells CNN, quote, any form of human trafficking, whether posts, pages, ads, or groups, is not allowed on Facebook. We removed the post and permanently disabled the account belonging to the person who posted this to Facebook. We're always improving the methods we use to identify content that breaks our policies, including doubling our safety and security team to more than 30,000. And
I never imagined that Facebook would be on the news with so much negative exposure.
Oh, never?
No. I mean, isn't this just kind of happening now within the last few years? Because Facebook's been around a while.
It seems like it. Don't you think it's weird that somehow Facebook is supposed to have some kind of morality?
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's...
It was a website. It was basically invented to rate the hotness of chicks. And the guy who owns it stole it from his friends and made billions of dollars off it. I can't believe that they're not more ethical.
Yeah, it's true. It was made by a bunch of frat boys, basically, right?
Well, have you ever watched The Social Network?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
And I remember, I'm old enough to remember that when Facebook first came out, you had to have a university email address
to get on.
To get on it, yeah. And it wasn't just open to the general public.
And then they realized how great that information data mining was, so they're like, let's get more people in on this shit.
That was back when MySpace was the thing.
Yeah. MySpace.
I'm still on Friendster, if anybody wants to friend me there.
Remember Rupert Murdoch fucking bought MySpace when everybody in the world knew it was over except Rupert Murdoch?
Yeah. So out of touch.
562 million? Right?
Yes.
That's not a bad deal, though.
For MySpace.
Good deal for Tom.
You know, funny thing, Alex Jones, of course, has famously been scrubbed from practically every social network. However, I did look, and he still is on MySpace. He's not active on MySpace, but there is an Alex Jones account on MySpace.
I wonder who his top 8 are.
So it's like a troll account or something? Or is it really him?
Dore, I'm sorry, maybe Dore. I should. What would you like to call you, Mr. Dore, Jimmy?
Jimmy's fine.
I don't know why I'm calling you Dore. That's very disrespectful. But I'm just wondering, what your take on the whole Alex Jones ban from YouTube and Twitter and I believe the Facebook. What's your take on that?
You know, I again went against the grain and was against it. Mm-hmm. And I talked about the slippery slope, and I said, you know, if you don't defend speech you find repulsive, you don't believe in free speech. And I grew up on the south side of Chicago. Every year the Nazis would petition to march in Skokie, which is a Jewish suburb, and we all understood that that's how it works. And that if the First Amendment applies, it applies to the people you hate too. Otherwise, you know, it's not popular speech that needs protection and all that stuff. And I tried to warn everybody on the left that if they can do this to him in the dark, I'm not saying you can't ban somebody but you have to have a transparent process that's objective and there's a standard involved, and you have an objective arbiter, judge. And someone needs to be able to see the evidence against them, and you have to be able to confront the evidence. Otherwise, you're just taking away people's free speech, and that could be done to anybody, which it, by the way, fucking immediately was. 800 Facebook pages taken down, a lot of them very reputable news organizations that were cop watch places. And what do they need? So what do we need right now? We need a real revolution, because it ain't going to happen through voting in the United States. It's not happening. And so if you're going to watch it, you're going to have to get a real revolution. Right now in of France. In France, a country a little bit bigger than Texas, they had 2,000 simultaneous protests inside France today. 2,000. If you look at a map of France, the whole thing looks lit up with protests. And that's what we're going to have in the United States if we ever want to get a healthcare system that functions, if we ever want to end these fucking wars, and if we ever want to have a living wage. That's what we're going to have to do, because it's not coming through the ballot box. We live in an oligarchy. Everybody fucking knows it, and everybody pretends the problem in America is Susan Sarandon and Jill Stein, because everybody's a fucking adult child of an alcoholic in the United States.
Jesus,
yes,
lot to respond to there.
Go ahead.
So you basically think I recently I believe you said that we need to start a third party. Do you really think that that's a very feasible way of?
It's feasible in so many other countries. Why isn't it feasible here?
Well, I'm talking about feasibility in terms of actually like making a dent in like getting to the presidency.
I feel like the argument that that just because a third party can't win immediately, that you just gloss over the fact that if people are willing to support a third party candidate long enough, we could get them to the point where they would be winning.
Sure, I'm not against voting third party when you're in a state that is clearly going to go one way or the other. But I just feel like I don't know. I guess I'm more about pragmatism. That Jimmy, I think
how's that pragmatism worked out for you?
How has it worked out for me? I mean, if people had actually acted pragmatically, we wouldn't have the two fucking awful Supreme Court justices that we have. We wouldn't have the possible DACA ban. We wouldn't have a whole shitload of things that we do now. Now we would by no means have a prize on our hands. I'm with you that Hillary Clinton was not fucking great by any stretch of the imagination, but yeah, I think there's a little bit of a difference between or a chasm between our thoughts on this topic. I respect what you have to say.
Let Jimmy respond to your Hillary statement.
Yeah, go for it.
I will just say that 40 years of neoliberalism is what got you Donald Trump. 40 years of voting for the lesser of two evils have got you Donald Trump. 40 years of taking it is what got you Donald Trump and got you Hillary Clinton as the nominee. They cheated Bernie Sanders, the biggest electoral fraud in the history of the United States. It's not even talked about. And there's been no reforms put in place to make sure it doesn't happen again. We have no electoral integrity in this country, and the Democrats don't give a fuck about it. They don't even scream about it. Why? Because they use it themselves. 200,000 voters got kicked off the rolls of New York. They admitted they did it illegally, and nobody did not only to go to prison, they didn't even get charged. There wasn't even a court proceeding, because then they would be out in open court and people can read it. They did it all secret behind closed doors, and those are all fucking Democrats. So all I'm saying is voting for the lesser of two evil is what got you Donald Trump. The Democratic Party is incapable of reform. They're a party of white suburban liberals or Republicans, and that's who they're going for. If you look at the Democrats successfully primaried two corporate Democrats in this last election. After Bernie, after he said we needed a revolution, two corporate Democrats have been primaried. That's it. We're going to go fight Donald Trump in 2020 with Nancy Pelosi as an albatross. Trump just endorsed her, by the way, and Schumer. And Chuck Schumer. And so all I'm saying is doing the same thing over and over, and expecting a different result. A lot of people call that grown up. I think that's the definition of insanity.
I see what you're saying to a certain degree, but first of all, we had Bernie, we had people like Elizabeth Warren who kind of were very popular at the time, and I think people underestimate the certain things that could have been done if Hillary Clinton had won, to kind of bring her slightly more to the left than even Barack Obama was over the course of his presidency. And I don't know. I mean,
you don't know. I think you're kind of stuck here, Vadim.
The lesser of two evils is the lesser of two evils.
No.
I mean, you've heard what Chomsky had to say about it, right?
So what I feel, a lot of people who make this argument, I think, don't understand just how bad Barack Obama was. And that's why you got Trump. And it's not the people who vote for the Green Party. Half the country doesn't vote for F's sake. And why do you think that is? You know, after the 2016 election, the New York Times went to barbershops in Milwaukee and asked those people who voted twice for Barack Obama why they didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. There's your problem. Your problem is that the Barack Obama became president, those people voted for him, and their lives got worse. Their lives didn't get better. What happens when you have a supermajority in the House and it's Democrat and a Democratic president? You get a right-wing healthcare plan. You got the banks made bigger. He took us from 2 wars to 7, and he opened the Arctic to drilling whatever shell oil asked him. That's why you got Donald Trump, because the Democratic Party is more corrupt than you could ever imagine.
Okay.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Vadim, your response?
When he came to office and he promised hope and change, he did. He didn't.
I agree. I mean, like when Dore.
In fact, Barack Obama admitted that his policies would be considered moderate Republican if it was 1984. So when you have a guy who everyone thinks is a leftist and he governs like a right winger, and then why do you think we got Trump? Because they're desperate for somebody to fucking address their problems.
I just fucking think that the prospect of, I mean, we're in a situation right now where states are going to lose the ability to. Certain states are going to lose at the very least, are going to lose the ability to have abortions. There's going to be women who are literally going to die giving themselves botched abortions. You're going to have women, probably in some states, who will survive abortions and then be put on trial for having had them. And it's things like that. I mean, there's a whole list of things that I could list that kind of fit under. We would not have had that with the other choice. And so I'm with you when you say that Obama was a lot worse than most people think. I am with you on that. Like I am totally.
So how did the Democratic Party convince you that you need it to get the right people elected then?
I don't totally understand that question. I mean, I think that there are certain Democrats that are objectively better than others, at least in terms of the metric that I use. We had some better Democrats come about in the midterms. I think that it was not as much of a wave as we wanted, but it actually was a blue wave. Like some people are denying that, but it actually was. And I don't know. I think it's better to kind of work with.
I mean, what is really a blue wave? I mean, isn't that just subjective bullshit? Like a blue wave and whether really, it is or isn't.
When you look at what was realistically possible, the states that the positions that were up for that were realistically gettable, and the gains that we made. It's pretty good. Like at first, when I first saw the results, I did not think that it was a blue wave.
This was the blue wave. Hi, we're still here, Daddy Trump. Hi. Hi.
No, there was
the blue wave is bring back Nancy Pelosi, right?
There was more of a pickup. There was more of a pickup in the Congress than we've had in decades.
Was Nancy Pelosi riding a surfboard on top of the blue wave back to the Speaker of the House?
All right. You object to the term, fine. I'm not saying that.
Fuck the term, dude. I want to go back to this revolution talk. Why are we talking about politics? It's fucked. Let's bring this revolution about. What are we gonna do about it? Hillary said, "Pokemon go to the polls." Fuck the polls. Pokemon go to the street. Vadim, I'm designing an app right now. It's turn-based gaming for a revolution. Tells all these stupid fucking people, download the app turn by step by step, takes them into the streets. We're going to be lit up like France tomorrow. Vadim, download my app. It's called fuckamerica.com. Get it.
Okay, well, there's not much to say after that. Let's move on.
No, man. I want to plan this revolution. I'm pumped. Jimmy got me pumped.
I certainly, I certainly understand the sentiment of the lesser of two evil voting, but I don't begrudge anyone who voted for Hillary Clinton. I understand why people did that. I understand. I'm just saying that if Hillary Clinton became president, things were still going to be horribly shitty. And the reason why is because you didn't get a good, both parties just gave Trump $200 billion extra to go fight what for what? The same people who said free college was a pony then turned around and voted for $80 billion extra to give to Trump. So who's the guy who wrote? It doesn't matter. There's a famous quote I like, and it said, the problem with the voting of the lesser of two evils is that the parties could set it up that way, and it certainly seems like that. And it's a big club, and you ain't in it. And we all know that that Bill Clinton gave advice to Donald Trump, that Hillary Clinton elevated Donald Trump, had her minions in the press elevate Donald Trump so that he would be the nominee, and she couldn't win. And by the way, it's funny when I see people, they don't have outrage at that, or they don't have outrage that the DNC cheated the guy who could have wiped the floor with Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders.
I have plenty of outrage at that. I mean,
I never hear it.
I agree with you that reform should be made, because the fact of the matter is a lot of people think that what was done was illegal, and arguably it should have been illegal, but it was legal and in my opinion highly unethical. I'm sure you agree with that, Dore. So
it's laughable that a party called the Democratic Party would be so against democracy,
Well, sure. I mean, the Republicans are as well. Let's not
Did Republicans have super delegates?
That. I mean, they're against recounts. They're against they're pro voter suppression. I mean, there's just they're not saints here. They're far worse in this regard. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, also healthcare is another issue. I mean, they put kind of the death knell on that with the taking out the mandate with the tax increases that they imposed, and I rely on it. Some people call it shitty. I don't pay that much, and I have anti-seizure medication that is very expensive that I wouldn't be able to really afford very well otherwise. So I'm probably going to lose that because of this precedent. So it's just there's a whole laundry list of things that I can name
And so I just think that you make the miscalculation that the reason we got here has to do with people with no money and no power instead of people with all the money and all the power. And that's why we're here. We're not here because of Jill Stein. We're not here because of Susan Sarandon or Jimmy Dore. We're here because of the patently corrupted misappropriation of the Democratic Party. And they're this is what happens when both parties turn their back on workers. They're going to go to a right-wing demagogue. Your problem isn't with third-party voters. Your problem is with half the country who doesn't think it matters if they vote, because it fucking doesn't. 64% of Latinos on this 2018 midterms said that they didn't know what the Democratic Party stood for, and you're going to be mad at fucking people with no money and no power.
Well, Jimmy, I'm not mad at people who voted third party in the last election, because I know the numbers, and I know that if they had voted for Hillary, it would not have swayed it in her favor. I know that. So there's no reason. But in the future election, if we were to get some third party that really was I don't know, that let's say Bernie was running on the Democratic ticket and this third party that you want there to be out there is running as well. Well, then Bernie's going to lose. And don't you want Bernie to win? I mean, weren't you pro Bernie?
I'm very pro Bernie. I'm pro Bernie's policies.
Yeah.
So I'm very pro Bernie's policies. And at that point, that would be not a Faustian bargain. That would be, well, I could vote for someone great or someone great. I'll go with the guy who's great who can win. Instead of, someone who's going to punch me with two hands or someone who's going to punch me with one hand. Hillary Clinton would have probably won Michigan if they didn't pass the 1996 crime bill, which put half of those motherfuckers in prison. And they know that she did that. They also know that that TPP was being pushed at the same time. They were by Barack Obama at the top of his lungs. At the same time, Hillary wanted those people in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania to vote for her. Well, they knew what NAFTA did for them. And here comes Trump saying, by the way, attacking Hillary from the left. He was out from the left of her on health care. He said he was going to give everybody health care. He didn't mean it. At least he fucking said it. And he attacked her from the left on trade. He did repeal the TPP or kill it. And
yeah,
so,
but we're getting it again. We're getting that. He said that he's fine with doing it again. He's basically just going to tweak a few provisions, and we're going to get the same bullshit.
Right, but the point isn't how good or bad Trump is or what he does. The point is that the Democrats failed to be Democrats, which is why we got Trump. And so the point of my show is to focus people on the causes of where we are right now. And the causes of where we are right now is that we have two parties bought by the same people, which is why even though 9 out of 10 Democrats want Medicare for all, and now even a majority of Republicans, the Democrats still won't even let it leave their lips, meaning Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. 9 out of 10 Democrats. So that's just corruption because they don't represent you. They represent their donors and the oligarchs. And I'm not kidding when I say we need a real revolution. If you look at a map of France today, 2,000 protests at the same time, and they have health care. And we don't, in the richest country in the world, and that should be that is a shame, and it should be a pox on our whole goddamn country, and we all gonna have to rise up. It's not gonna happen through electoral politics. You have to sit there right now hanging on by your fingertips just so you can get treatment in the richest country in the fucking world, and Nancy Pelosi isn't screaming for Medicare for all? Fuck that party.
Yeah, wow. I think a lot of people in the chat seem to think that I disagree with Jimmy more than I do. I agree with
Vadim,
just about everything. What
would you
want
vote,
to move on?
Well, no, I was just going to ask you a question. So, in 2 years, would you vote for Hillary again for president?
If Hillary was the one, if I was voting in fucking LA where Jimmy is, I would vote third party because she'd.
It matters where you live?
Yeah, it does matter where you live. I was voting in a swing state. So there was no way that I was going to vote for Jill Stein.
I know people who
voted in New York. I would have voted Jill Stein.
I know people.
Even though I'm not totally crazy about her. She's got some things that are a little wacky.
I know people who lived in a primarily blue area and they voted for Trump because they thought it was funny and they hate Trump. So you.
I'm not for like troll voting. I think that's just throwing your fucking vote away.
I mean, what's the vote worth?
Because he mentioned I live in Los Angeles and I get to vote in California, which is very true. But I like to use this as an example of. And by the way, let me just say, we do agree on policy. We just disagree on tactics. So I think you're right. People think we disagree more than we actually do. We just have a disagreement on tactics. But I just want to tell you about voting in California. We have a supermajority Democrats in California with a governor who's Jerry Brown, who's a Democrat, who when I was growing up, everyone said he was so left, he was a hippie freak. And now he's been our governor for, 2-3 terms. Anyway, so we have supermajority Democrats. Jerry Brown is governor in the 5th largest economy in the world, and we don't have Medicare for all, and we don't have free college, and we don't have a living wage, and we don't have a housing policy. We have a housing crisis, people sleeping under bridges in Los Angeles, every goddamn bridge. And so that's in a state with a supermajority Democrats. So this idea that Democrats are going to get you Medicare for all is a pipe dream, and the idea that Democrats are going to end the wars is a pipe dream, that the Democrats will ever fucking reign in Wall Street. They're going to crash our economy again. And who's going to be hurt again? You, me, not fucking them. So the Democrats are not your savior on climate change. Hillary Clinton wanted to export fracking to the world. Barack Obama said all of the above was his strategy. We pumped out more oil from the earth during Obama's administration than the entire history of our country. And he opened up the Arctic to drilling whenever Shell Oil asked him. So I'm just telling you, the Democrats are not our savior. And
it's sort of like, do you want to take two, like a few steps forward or 20 steps back, which is exactly what we're doing with Trump and the environment.
Let's sidestep revolution.
I mean, there's so many regulations that the dude has cut. The Clean Air Act. I mean, there's going to be 12 times the amount of what is it? Not CO2. Just shitty emissions that are being spewed out over the course of the next 10 years as a result of repealing that. I mean, withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accord. Look, I know it wasn't enough.
Sure, but how did we get here? How did we get here, though? That's the key. That's the key.
That's the key. And so
But like you're thinking like exclude the idea that maybe we could have made more progress over the course of not just those 4 years, but years later, you know. And I don't think that's like I don't believe in like tearing it all down in order to build it all back up
just as
again.
Jimmy mentioned, it is in LA. In Seattle, it's the same. We have Democrats in charge. And we have people living in cities made of tents everywhere here, under overpasses and everywhere you can imagine. Anywhere there's empty space.
And it costs so much money to give them like medical care the city's paying for. We could just put them in houses.
The Amazons and the Boeings and Starbucks and all the huge corporations, Microsoft,
Wizards
everything.
of the Coast.
They raise all the people living here. They've raised the cost of housing here with their average wages, and now people are living in tents everywhere.
And these are, by the way, these are problems that are all solvable. Like homelessness, it would cost $20 billion a year to end homelessness. You know, they just gave the Pentagon $80 billion more a year. They didn't even fucking ask for. So these are problems are very fixable, and everyone pretends like we can't. You know, Jeff Bezos can end homelessness, and he can end world hunger. It would cost $32 billion to end world hunger. Jeff Bezos could do that, and he could still be the richest guy in the history of the world, and he won't do it. And by the way, they passed a tax in Seattle to give $68 million or $38 million to the homeless people, and Amazon said no way. And they came in and because those politicians are bought. And so I'm not kidding. We need a real revolution. I know that might sound great, but that's what has to happen. And if we don't, you know, right now you're hanging on for your health care. You know, 30 million Americans don't have health care. How do you convince them to vote for the status quo? You can't convince people to vote for the status quo when their lives already suck, which is why half the country won't vote. Your life doesn't suck so much because you still have health care right now. So you got a reason to vote for Democrats. Half the country does it. And when they passed Obamacare, what people don't realize is that did not give poor people access to fucking healthcare.
I would have a reason to vote the same way that I did, whether or not my medical issues are what they are. I mean, just the abortion issue alone, the SCOTUS judges alone is a huge thing. But there's so many other things that I can mention. I do want to ask you one more question before we move on. I feel like we probably should. But have you given up on the Justice Democrats? Is that kind of like where you're at right now?
No, I support progressive politicians no matter where they are. And I hope that the Justice Democrats can make a big dent and hopefully move Nancy Pelosi to the left. And who knows? I don't think it's happening, but I root for them. And I don't try to shit on anybody who's trying to make a dent progressively inside the Democratic Party or outside or in a third party. I'm for anybody who's for a Green New Deal.
Okay, cool.
And Jimmy, do you have anyone in mind that you would support in the next presidential election?
Yeah.
I would definitely support Bernie Sanders. I mean, he seems to, you know, look what he got done even not being elected. So this is what I'm talking about. He got Amazon to give people a $15 raise. He got Disney to do the same thing. And this is the kind of stuff, you know, like electoral politics are important, but I think it's even more important to maybe organize union workers at all the Walmarts in California. Like that would have a big, look what the teachers did in Arizona. In red states, they did that. And by the way, they did that against the advice of the fucking Democrats. And they did that against the advice of the teachers union. They said, fuck you, we're not taking this. And they stood up and they won. And that's what scares the oligarchs, is when people come together, stand up and win. That's what scares the shit out of them. And you know, the thing that kills me is like, look what happened in Wisconsin, right? So you got that maniac Scott Walker shitting and killing everybody and taking the union away from teachers. And Barack Obama, not only did he not put on the soft shoe, he wouldn't even mention it. And so you wonder why people in Wisconsin didn't vote for Democrats. I mean, the reason is the party has left you. The party is not your friend. The party will keep you from Medicare for all. They're not going to try to get it for you.
I agree with a lot of the things you're saying. Just the idea that we're going to create a third party and take the presidency. No. It just seems like a fucking pie in the sky.
Revolution. Fuck party. Revolution.
It just does not seem realistic. And I'm someone who, you know, like I was a Bernie guy. I was I'm all for like Alexia Cortez and the Justice Democrats and
anyone
shit.
from any other country
I'm
except
for
for
all
like
of the policies that the Jimmy is. I just think that the pathway to those things is a little different.
You really
than
don't
he
think why isn't a third party realistic when it works in so many other places? I mean, you know,
when has it worked in America? Like it just hasn't.
It's because the government's easier to control when you have less shit getting in the way.
The only thing that a third party is going to do, unless you have some like weird ass third party that sucks, that has like somebody who's really like left wing and really right wing, and just that's like a shitty ticket. Then you're going to split the votes of the whatever Democrat is running and the third party, and Trump will win, and it's a recipe for
Trump's going to win anyways.
So if there was what I tried to tell people is when Hillary cheated Bernie and the Democratic Party and the oligarchs cheated the progressives, because let's remember their first order of business is not to defeat the Republicans, but to first defeat the party of the working man, which is the progressives, and then maybe we'll beat the Republicans, which is exactly what they did last time. And when Hillary cheated Bernie and she got the nomination, she didn't reach out to progressives. She didn't say Bernie can be my vice president, or Elizabeth Warren, or Sherrod Brown.
Yeah, she picked a fucking loser. I agree with you.
To the right of her, she went after Republican votes, and again, this is the problem. The Democrats have become the Republican Party. We need a party that represents people, and you don't have to win. If there was a party that was a progressive party that was polling, say, at 5 or 10%, the Democrats could no longer fucking give them the finger. They would have to then have a coalition government, or maybe come to some kind of agreement. Instead of what happens all the time is they fucking flip us off, and then they go to the right, and then we're still left voting for a shittier candidate in 4 more years.
Do you think that, I mean, like, I think that we have some, like, besides Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, I think we have a few other people on the ticket, not on the ticket officially, but people who would probably be running that are pretty progressive, and like that Yang guy who recently announced that he's going to be running, Richard Ojeda, like that guy. I mean, they have no chance, in my opinion, of actually like winning the primary, but they might be good vice presidential picks, and they're
you just naming
really
a bunch of people that hardly anybody, like, I don't know who that person
yeah, but
is.
if you see these people, like Richard Ojeda is a fucking like a firebrand, like that guy can like really like talk tough, and he not only is he like a fighter, but he also like really appeals, like he's an ex-Marine. He's someone who would really appeal to people in the Rust Belt and stuff like that, and he has a very progressive agenda, you know. So if we teamed him with somebody like Bernie or somebody like Elizabeth Warren, we might have a good Democratic ticket. You know, I agree with you. There's a very good chance that we might get, I don't know, just another loser. We might even get Hillary Clinton again, and that would suck. But
can I tell you what will happen if Bernie Sanders becomes president and he does it with someone who's actually progressive as his vice president? What will happen, and you will see this happen like that, is there will be a third party, but it will be the corporate Democrats starting the third party. That is what will happen. There's no doubt if Bernie somehow manages, they're going to cheat him again. They're doing it right now. They have a rule that Tom Perez, the head of the DNC, gets to decide if you're a Democrat in good standing or not. And that was put in specifically to scare the shit out of Bernie Sanders so he doesn't primary any Democrats, which he fucking isn't. So that's got to done. So even if he becomes president, you're going to see a third party, but it's going to be the money party. And that's what's tough about starting a third party, is getting money if you don't take corporate cash, right? That's the real problem. And so we could have did it with someone like Bernie. You need a charismatic leader who can pull people from the party. So that didn't happen, and I don't think it will happen. But what I will guarantee you, if Bernie does win and become president, there will be 3 parties, and that third party is going to be the wealthy party of all the fucking corporate donors, and that's who you're going to have to run against.
Alrighty
is correct. Yeah. Yeah. Billy, anything to add? Revolution.
I'm fuck this politics shit. Like I want the revolution now. Jimmy said it. Let's start this revolution. Let's go around the
But
pole.
I think you're thinking that we're going to be marching.
Fuck marching.
Into battle.
I want to turn it into a video game so the kids get in on it and they have incentives to fucking revolt. If you do all these revolution things, you get a free fucking Starbucks or something stupid. I'm gonna get them in.
I know Jimmy's not staying for the entire show. How much time you got left, Jimmy?
I could stay for about another 15.
Okay, cool.
Let me get a drink. I got cottonmouth. Hold on a second.
Okay, cool. So yeah,
I just like honestly like the politics is such a fucking bullshit pendulum. It swings back and forth a couple fucking inches. Like I think my dick is longer than the goal line moves, and I don't have a huge one. So arguing over back and forth, it just keeps inching its way closer to fucking something it wasn't when I was a kid. So I want the revolution. I'm up for it.
you got a black and mild, Vadim?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Cottonmouth.
And I'm sympathetic. I know you're. It's kind of a 3-on-1 situation here. It's usually the other way, and I'm usually the one. So I know exactly how you feel. Even when I'm on the Young Turks, I'm outnumbered, right? I'm always the lone guy.
I've heard you argue with Cenk a few times over certain things.
Yeah, I get they give it to me hard over there. They call me all kinds of things, petulant child and things like that. So I know how. I'm very sympathetic to your position, and I know what it feels like. So I just want to say that.
Alrighty. It's okay. I mean, I don't want things to get too aggro, so I'm not gonna like shout and stuff and.
I get worked up. I'm sorry if I shouted. I get worked up.
Yeah, no, you got a lot of passion, dude, and I respect that. So,
well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
But yeah, let's just move on and watch some videos, dude.
What'd you think about what'd you guys think about the Trump and Jim Acosta thing?
Oh, it's disgusting.
I have some very strong feelings on this.
All right. I don't even know if we really need to play well, let's see. It says the White House back downs fully restores Jim Acosta's press.
We were waiting for that 3 o'clock Eastern deadline, and now we know the White House is backing down in the fight over press pass belonging to CNN's chief White House correspondent, Jim Acosta. With me now, our chief media correspondent, Brian Stelter. And so, what do you have?
What we have here is
I saw a video. I saw Alex Jones make a video about this guy, like saying that he's like satanic and shit before.
Yeah, it was pretty hilarious.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So
he just got humiliated by Ted Koppel on a panel the other day. It was pretty funny.
See, I hate this whole situation because it's gonna, I'm gonna have to white knight a little bit for CNN, and I fucking hate CNN. They're totally corporate. They totally like just a lot of people for some bizarre reason, I guess, because the how far the country is swung to the right, it's considered left wing, and they're incredibly right wing when it comes to corporate shit. They're pretty goddamn right wing. They just they tell every now and then the truth about Trump, and for that reason, people like say that they're left wing, and it's fucking absurd.
CNN has a vested interest in this. Obviously, they have a vested interest, but I'm kind of in the middle on this one. I don't like the president just being able to like kick certain people he doesn't like out either. And I'm pretty sure Fox News was on CNN's side with this because they realize that someday a president that doesn't like them could just kick them out if he wanted to. But what did you want to say on it, Jimmy?
No, I mean, I agree with what everyone said so far already. But I think what's being missed out of this is that Jim Acosta is a horrible reporter who asks shitty questions and is doing nothing but fucking grandstanding. And I get a thrill when Trump tells him to shut the fuck up. Just like I get a thrill if Bernie Sanders got a chance to tell Jake Tapper he's full of shit, that Medicare for all costs more than what we have now. Everybody would be doing backflips because just like you said, CNN is full of shit. And right now, what's the narrative in the establishment is that somehow the right wing is the only people who hate CNN. But I remember back in 2016 at a Bernie rally here in Santa Monica, the whole room was chanting CNN sucks. So the left and the right know CNN is full of shit. And this guy Brian Stelter was just on a panel with Ted Koppel, and Ted Koppel was giving him a hard time for saying that you're the ones who propped up Trump, and now you love him because he's giving you ratings. Your ratings are through the roof since Trump. And he looked at Ted Koppel with a straight face and said, ratings don't matter. If my ratings went down 40%, it wouldn't matter. And the entire room laughed in his fucking face. That's the guy who's the media watchdog at CNN. So this whole thing with Jim Acosta is a circus. And you know how I know it's a circus? It reveals the establishment press to be fucking hypocrites of the highest order. Because if they really gave a shit about press freedom, they would have been screaming when Barack Obama was using the Espionage Act to prosecute whistleblowers and journalists. He didn't only use it once, twice, or three times. He used it more times than all the presidents in the history of our country combined to prosecute whistleblowers. And nobody said a fucking word. And right now, they are now torturing and trying to imprison a whistleblower, Julian Assange, who is a truth teller, who is an award-winning journalist, and no one's saying a goddamn thing about it. To go one step further, at the correspondence dinner where they all get together to suck each other's dick, instead of fucking exposing each other, they all get together to suck each other's dick. Randy Credico stood up and said, "Where is the award for Julian Assange?" Not only did nobody join him, but they handcuffed him and dragged him out of a room full of reporters, and nobody reported it. So they're all full of shit. That's what I think. And Jim Acosta's the worst of them, because when he goes to Trump rallies and he'll show the video of them flipping him off, after the cameras go off, Jim Acosta hops off the fucking stage and he takes pictures with them and he talks to them for hours. And that's a fact. And so that's how you know Jim Acosta knows how to play this scene. He's playing the country. The CNN is playing us. The establishment is playing us, just like when they gave us Trump. They propped him up, and now they pretend to hate him, even though he's doing their bidding.
I agree with just about everything you said, Jimmy. The one thing that I want to say, though, is that the question that he happened to be asking at the time that this whole controversy occurred was actually a good question. I mean, he was shedding light on the fact that this whole caravan thing is a fucking joke and a non-threat. And I think it was one of the rare times that I've seen him actually do something decent. So, in spite of the fact that normally maybe I get the same thrill that you would of seeing him being told to shut up, I thought he was on the right track with that one. So, I don't know. I think
I just think he shouldn't have hit that woman.
It's a different situation.
That was the thing I found ridiculous about it. Acosta chop.
How often do you see Trump talk to the press like that? Like, he's usually in front of a fucking airplane engine or something in a loud ass
Doesn't he
field.
normally just send Sarah Huckabee Sanders to do it for him?
Saying this was a circus, it was set up like a fucking circus. It was like a wrestling promo. Trump was up there on the podium, and Acosta's there down below, and they're having their back and forth. It was fucking, when you say circus, it was WWE circus fucking bullshit.
And the footage that they... Oh, go ahead, Jimmy.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the footage that they used was from InfoWars. How the fuck did that happen? That is just hysterical. I mean, shouldn't they have their own cameras? How could that happen? I don't know. That's all I have to say.
Well, I want to say, I'll say one more thing about this, is that it is amazing how Trump will breathlessly lie. It is kind of something. He's taking it to a new level. But it is interesting how the entire establishment press pretends that lying started in January 2017. That is just amazing. By the way, Joe Biden just gave an award to a war criminal the other day, George W. Bush. They gave him an award for all his work with veterans. No, I'm not kidding. That happened.
All of his work? You mean like sending them to the other side of the world in horrible conditions?
In an illegal war. All his work making more fucking veterans. Anyway, so to me, that is interesting to watch the establishment press paint this narrative that somehow lying started in, and it's just funny to watch them. They're also, because they're also scared of Bernie, they're smearing him. They're starting to smear him right now. So the Daily Beast just did a hit piece on him. Did you see the headlines where Bernie says that they weren't racist who voted for DeSantis, and he doesn't so it's like Bernie's some kind of out of touch guy who won't call a racist, and he's got a race problem. It's all the fucking smearing. It's happening again. So it's very unfortunate that we have to stand up for the press around Jim Acosta instead of standing up for the press around Julian Assange or Edward Snowden or Chelsea Manning or someone who's a real whistleblower.
Assange is still kind of an asshole, though.
I saw a poll.
In spite of the fact he's done some good things.
I saw a poll recently that said Biden was the favorite for 2020.
Bernie was trailing behind him.
I was really surprised
Beto
by
O'Rourke
it.
was third.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I hope not.
I'm like, I was a Bernie baby in 2016. I'm going to be a Beto cuck in 2020.
I'll reserve my judgment to see if Beto runs, but
yeah,
he's no Bernie.
Yeah. I mean, I like Bernie, but I feel like he's kind of blown his shot. I would love for him to take down Trump. I don't know if he can do it.
Billy's pretty convinced there's no one that can beat Trump.
I don't see it. I thought for sure he was a fucking placeholder for Hillary in 2016. I didn't think he was going to make it in. I was fucking shocked when he made it in, and now I'm looking at it and I cannot see him lose. I don't see somebody
polling. He's still polling horribly. You know, I mean, like maybe better compared to how he has at certain
He was
points, but
polling
he's still
horribly
polling
in 2016.
Yeah, he was.
He's always polled horribly.
He ran against fucking Hillary, who was not a good candidate.
Hillary was ahead in the polls.
South Park, the Election Day episode after Election Day, they had that shit written for Hillary. That's how sure they were. They wrote 2 when Obama and McCain had their dance off. They had 2 different episodes in case one of the other guys won. And they
did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, they didn't even bother with a Trump one. They had to redo that like the day of, like, oh shit. They had to change the ending.
You know what else is shitty is that the same people who are screaming about Jill Stein's a Russian and you shouldn't vote third party. And I don't mean you, but they don't scream about the Electoral College, which is fucking. We wouldn't have Trump. I mean, the Electoral College has only swung 40% of the elections in this century. I don't know. Maybe it's important we get rid of it. It gives fucking more than one vote to people in Montana, North Dakota, where no one lives. Those people also have senators. Right? There's more people in my congressional district than in the entire state of Nevada, yet they get, of Montana, yet they get 2 freaking senators. So we don't have one man, one vote. That's a bigger problem in this country. Also, those same people aren't supporting ranked choice voting. If the Democrats really worried so much about spoiler votes, why wouldn't they be pushing ranked choice voting? It's because they want to have that there to blame someone, just like they blamed Trump. They blamed Russia and WikiLeaks and everybody else instead of doing an autopsy on the Democratic Party, which never happened because we were screaming. That's the problem. We got to get them to focus on the problem. Why doesn't half the country vote? And so we got to have ranked choice voting. We got to get rid of the Electoral College, and we got to remember what the problem is.
Yeah. Dems did have, I think, 9 million more Senate votes in terms of the popular vote than Republicans did. Yet the Republicans won the majority of the seats. So, yeah, I agree with Jimmy on that.
And, Maine just had an election with ranked choice voting, and that's how you get a guy like Paul LePage, right? Like, people are like, how the hell does that cretin get to be governor? And it's because he won with like 37% of the vote. So now they instituted ranked choice voting, and the guy who got elected, a Democrat, wins because of it. It's awesome. So ranked choice voting, it works like it's supposed to. There's no spoilers, and that's what shows you if you're not for that and you're a Democrat, that shows that you're a hypocrite.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So does everyone know what ranked choice voting is, by the way? I find that people don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
You should explain to everybody.
I'm going to go Google that shit.
Ranked choice voting is you have to have a majority of the 51% to win, right? You can't have a plurality like Paul LePage. So what they do is, let's say there's 4 candidates. Everybody gets 25. This one gets 50%. This one gets 40. This one gets. So you take the lowest one, you throw out their votes, And then the people who chose their second, the people who voted for that person, who was their second choice? So you get the number. Well, Jill Stein is my first choice. Hillary Clinton's my second. Gary Johnson's my third, and Trump would be my fourth. So if Jill Stein doesn't win, you throw her out, you take her votes, and you give them to their second choice. And then if someone doesn't have 51%, you throw out the bottom one again until you get someone with 51%. And so that way people don't have to worry about a spoiler vote or wasting their vote. They get to vote for who the fuck they want to. And if the person they wanted the most didn't win, their second choice, their vote goes to their second choice. And so that's what we should have. It's very telling that the Democrats aren't pushing for it, especially after what happened and they lost to Trump. It's very telling that they're not pushing to end the Electoral College. These are very telling. Their donors don't want these things. That's why they don't push for them.
Yeah, that would be interesting if that were possible, where you get several choices and then it just comes out to how many people agreed with you.
Right. So for instance, in Florida, when Al Gore ran against George Bush and Ralph Nader, everybody blamed it on Ralph Nader. So everybody who wanted to vote for Ralph Nader and didn't want George Bush to win, you could still vote for Ralph Nader. He doesn't win. Your second choice is Al Gore. They take your votes, give it to Al Gore. So there's no spoilers. And it's really telling that the Democratic Party, that isn't part of their platform. And none of the big Democrats even talk about it. I don't even hear Bernie talk about it, by the way.
Jimmy, what do you think about the idea of having term limits for SCOTUS judges? So that basically, like, you know, at every election cycle, we know how many seats will be up and, you know, kind of where they stand. Like, what do you think about that?
I'm for term limits on Supreme Court judge. I don't think it should be lifetime. I'm for that.
Yeah, I feel bad for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Just
she doesn't have to
IV drip.
She doesn't have to stay around if she didn't want to.
Poor broad.
I know, she's breaking ribs and everything. I gotta go to work. I gotta go to work.
That wasn't the first time that she's broken ribs. She's broken ribs before.
Yeah, man.
She's like built like a fucking tank.
I feel like they got a puppeteer with their hand up her ass, just keeping her alive until Trump's
Muppet.
out. Yeah. Damn.
She was created in Jim Henson's workshop.
Hey, more power to her. Dark Crystal 2.
So, yep. Looks like Jimmy might be out of time.
Okay. Well, that was fun. I love making fun of Brian Seltzer, whatever, how you ever say his name.
Yeah.
But
thanks.
It's funny. I like the joke I like to tell is he hosts a show called Reliable Sources. And the guy who hosted it before got fired because he filed too many stories that were unreliable. That's the truth. Howard Kurtz was the guy who got rid of him. He was filing stories that weren't true.
Damn. Jimmy, it's always fun having you on. Thank you for coming back.
It's great to be on. Thanks for having me, you guys, and great talking.
Yeah, nice meeting you, man.
Right, nice meeting you also, and good luck, and keep the faith, and let's see you in the streets. Let's get Medicare for all.
I'm into this revolution thing. You got me lit right now. I'm gonna figure out how to take over the kids and make them fight.
All right. Good luck.
All right. Good night, Jimmy.
Good one, Jimmy. So Vadim, now that Jimmy's gone, you wanna say some liberal shit right now? Some
liberal shit.
You wanna say some real cucky shit? You wanna get it out?
I mean, there's certainly a lot that I could say, but I feel like it's sort of like a low class move to say things about the guy when he's not around.
Oh no, not about Jimmy. I just mean like your opinions now that Jimmy's not here.
What would you really say about? I mean, like if
you want to say some like
yeah, it's like whoa, you have like things to say about him.
I just meant like.
Well, I mean, nothing that I don't feel like I have much to say that I haven't already said. I feel like he has a very idealistic way of looking at things that aren't practical. And and usually that's a lot of the time that's what people say to me about. That's what people said to me about like Bernie as a candidate and shit like that. So maybe I'm selling him short by not entertaining his kind of what I believe to be pie in the sky ideas. There's certainly like if we were living in like a world that is not tethered to fucking reality, I'd be like, yeah,
tethered to reality though, right? Like the right now it's tethered to a construct that we accept as reality because it keeps us divided.
I'm adding
keeps us
someone to the
going
call,
anywhere.
by the way.
We can't, we you know, there's only so much that you can realistically do, and I'm all about fucking fighting
like your
the
politics
power
right
shit.
now. Your politics right now is a hamster wheel, right?
Exactly.
You're just spinning around in the same place.
I don't believe that. I believe that you can make incremental changes for the better, and I think we easily could have gotten that. I mean, again, like fucking Dore, like he'll often he'll often quote Noam Chomsky, and Noam Chomsky like was totally for voting for the lesser of two evils in this situation.
You're still
he
picking
understood
evil.
that there were some progressive programs that she had. He understood that there was a way that we could have mobilized more left-wing forces on the left in order to push Hillary in a more left direction. So we wouldn't be taking 20 steps back.
Hillary doesn't get pushed anywhere. Hillary does the pushing herself. Hillary's in charge.
I'm not convinced about that, because the thing is that she was kind of a pussy when it like she changed a lot of
part
her
of her is absolutely.
rhetoric.
We know that.
as a
Oh well,
result
do we
of-
know?
All right. What? Okay, fine.
I'm starting this revolution, dude. We got the platform.
I brought on one of our patrons. He's from Twilight City Studios. He made a short film. There's a link in the description below if you want to check that out. I don't want to stay on this topic the entire time. I did want to take a moment to mention a few things really quick. We made some recent changes to our Patreon. Now we're doing a thing where if you're a $50 patron or above, at the beginning of the show, before we start the show, we show your name in kind of like the beginning credits.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of next year, starting next year in January, our top donor will be so our top Streamlabs donor each month will be named as associate producer for the following month. After that,
Nice. Good deal.
And then also we're doing something where also if you're a $50 patron, we're doing a thing where you can send us in videos that are 5 minutes or less, and we will roll those uninterrupted at the end of every show that month, as long as you qualify, and as long as it's 5 minutes or less, and we look at it and it's not like totally dumb or something we would object to, then
if it
we
doesn't
will play
violate
it.
terms of service,
Yeah, that kind of
perverts.
thing. So that's an opportunity for people to make videos to put basically whatever they want in it within reason. And then also our $25 perk, we're doing the Discord chat, the private Discord chat, but we're also going to start doing public Discord chat once a month on the show, and that's scheduled on the calendar and everything. And there's a second Patreon private show coming up in 10 days from now, and we're still working on that. And don't forget, guys, that next month is episode 500.
Next Saturday.
Did I say next month?
Saturday.
I meant
yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was thinking ahead while speaking. It didn't come out very well. I don't know if we're gonna reach our goal this week, but I guess I understand. It's like the weekend of a big holiday and shit.
we had a strong run every week. We were hitting that goal. So, but we'll see.
It's pretty crazy. 500 episodes already.
Yeah. That's because we started getting these bonus episodes and started doing 3 episodes a week again.
We were planning for it.
We're
doing Christmas. We were going to do like a holiday special.
On Christmas, you know what? I was thinking about doing. We'll do a thing where the super chats go to super chat for good or whatever it's called, and we'll decide what charity we do that for. But the Streamlabs go to us, so we have to make it clear, obviously.
Yeah. Like
for one episode, we'll do that where the money, the super chat money
super
goes.
chats
If
go
people
to-
want to give super chats for a charity, we could do it.
Super chats could go to charity. The Streamlabs will go to a stripper named Charity. Christmas bonus. Christmas boners. Boners. It's the bone broth. I don't know, man.
So we have about 1 hour and 15 left in the show. Jimmy's a busy guy. Usually, he can come for like the first half of the show.
Oh, it was
You know,
great.
it's so funny. Like on this show, we used to rip on Jimmy Dore all the time, but I apologized to him the last time he was on because we used to like make fun of him a lot.
He's a chill dude.
Yeah.
I like his like you kind of talk to a guy who's like got the comedy background too, and it's just like
See, like the
it's a good
one
conversation.
thing, Vadim, the one thing that you probably like him for the most, I thought was the most egregious thing that he did, and that was spit on Alex Jones.
I don't like that. No, there are other things that I like about him more than that. But I do think that's too bad I didn't bring that up. Yeah, I really don't mind that he did that. Like again, like I feel like it was sort of a situation where they had no fucking right to jump into shit, and in most situations like that, somebody would get punched. All he did was drink a little bit of water.
You don't have the right to punch somebody.
Big deal, you know? I mean, it's really like not a big deal.
I don't mean to go off a little off topic, but you guys ever heard of Eric Andre, the Eric Andre show?
Yeah.
On Adult Swim? Yeah. He like trolled Alex Jones at the Republican convention. It's on YouTube. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you saw that.
It's really funny. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
If you don't know who Eric Andre is, like you're probably watching like what the hell's going on? Like
If anyone would have punched Alex Jones, there would have been a lawsuit.
Come on, man. If I punch Alex Jones, if I punch Alex Jones, there would be a funeral.
Like, you know, like imagine that happening off camera at a bar. You know,
It's not right.
It's just, like he was just.
I'm against. Okay. Jeremy from the Quartering, he got attacked in a bar because someone didn't like the way he talks.
Supposedly, he really didn't have very good evidence for it.
What was he supposed to have video running
Didn't
when
he
he's
have
drinking
like
at
a
a
black
bar?
eye?
Yeah. Do you think he didn't get punched? Do you think he made it up?
Didn't the guy admit to it?
He took down certain information. It's possible. It's possible.
Oh my God. I've never heard this from anybody else.
I mean, made me skeptical that it occurred.
I mean, look, he definitely milked the fuck out of it, but I'm pretty sure it happened.
Assault is wrong and a crime.
A lot of people hate the Quartering in the gaming community.
If he got punched, I think that person should be brought to justice, all that shit. I'm not for the guy getting punched.
Well, you'll be happy to know both of them got kicked out of Gen Con for Jeremy getting punched. So, Jeremy and the guy that punched him
Could you imagine, like,
out.
if you went to VidCon or something and someone sucker punched you and you and the other guy both got kicked out and banned for life because of it?
That would suck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such bullshit.
Where's VidCon usually...
Well, this was Gen Con. I think that's in the Midwest.
Yeah, Gen Con's a gaming, a tabletop.
in Anaheim,
Yeah. Gen Con's in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Indiana.
And VidCon's in the Pacific Northwest? Or
No, VidCon is in Anaheim, California, SoCal.
Yeah.
And the Pacific Northwest has PAX, if you want to go to it.
Somebody just said if it was a lib that got punched, Vadim would be mortified by his own opinion. No, I would not. If I had seen some evidence that made it look dubious, I would not stand behind that. Like I would call that out as well. So,
I mean, what sort of evidence do you want? Do you want?
Yeah,
he took. There was a video that he posted.
Did he punch himself in the eye
very quickly? I forget all of the.
He had like a broken blood vessel in his eye.
It's like, you know, it's not necessarily like I have a photographic memory. So it's very possible. Look. It's very possible that it happened, and if it did, then I am totally on his side. And that person, I wish that he was brought to justice.
Yeah, because first of all,
I'll leave it at that.
First of all, he did have damage to his eye. So if he made it up, that means he did it to himself or had someone intentionally do it to him. Also, I believe there were eyewitnesses to the whole thing too. So I'm pretty sure it's you know, aside from literally being there to see it yourself, and I wasn't there to see it myself. I would say it's indisputable that it actually happened.
I just wish they had footage like of the Acosta attack. Because if we could have seen the attack like we did when Acosta murdered that woman in front of President Trump, like then Vadim wouldn't be able to defend the innocence of the attacker.
Wait, what?
You know, when Acosta murdered that woman in the White House.
Yeah, of course. I would not be skeptical, but
so yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't have brought it. You bring up a good point. I shouldn't have brought it up because the details of what made me skeptical in the first place are not fresh enough in my mind to do like that justice.
I think all these women that like falsify accusations against men should have videotaped their rapes as well. So then I would believe them.
It's not about purely
That's
just
gonna be
not
a
having
quote.
video of it. That's not it.
That's gonna be a quote.
Not it.
That's the new Billy the Fridge quote.
That was obviously said in jest. I don't think it's the proof was that he said it happened and there were witnesses and the guy hid out for an entire week and Gen Con kind of had worked with the guy. The guy was there for a panel, I believe. He owned a gaming company.
And they were in a bar. They weren't even they weren't actually at
and
the
Gen
con.
Con didn't react quickly to it because he was like one of their boys that punched him. So I don't know.
All right. Moving on.
Boom, 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 boom.
Here's a compilation of troll calls to C-SPAN.
Oh, this is good. This should be good.
Two quick points here. One, I feel that there are equal rights when it comes to marriage because a gay man has the same right to marry a woman that a straight man has. And two, personally, I do support gay marriage, but only when both chicks are hot. Thank you.
Let's move on to Hubbarstown.
Hello? Wayne, are you able to hear us? If not, we'll put you on hold. We'll try to come back to you in just a minute.
They lost me.
All right.
Jed is calling from Virginia. Which city is that in Virginia, Jed?
Castlewoman.
All right.
Thomas in Houston, Texas, Republican line. Thanks for holding. You're on with Michael Gordon of the New York Times.
Penises everywhere.
All right.
I don't think that was a prank. I think that guy was being
was
attacked.
just seeing penises
he was being
everywhere?
attacked, and he thought he was on the phone with 911.
Reminds me of that Mr. Garrison thing.
Oh, hello. I feel as though the women should be at home and making sandwiches and pushing out babies and having their period. And
all right,
this guy is assertive. He's definitely an alpha male. He's right. Women should make him sandwiches. Good one, buddy.
And have their period.
Have their period.
That's where he lost him. Was as soon as he mentioned the period, the guy's like, nope.
The guy's like, oh, I really like this sandwich making woman slave idea. Wait, she's bleeding out of her pussy. Cut.
Yep, I'm out. Hey, I'm gonna read some of the super chats and Streamlabs that came in. These are some of the ones from the beginning of the show. Rap battle: Jimmy the Dore versus Billy the Fridge. I don't think I've ever heard Jimmy Dore rap, so I don't know if that's.
If Jimmy and I put out a rap album together, it could be called Refrigerator Door.
Yes,
nice.
That's better than the battle. That's a collab with a great name.
Collab.
Someone said, nice to see y'all four progressives on at the same time. It was EJ that said that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a progressive. I don't know.
You don't think you're a progressive?
I don't like that word. I don't like that term.
It scares you because now you're going to be called a cuck.
I don't think I'm a progressive. Death Wish Cassidy, $4 Australian dollars and 20 Australian fucking cents. What the fuck is the difference? Do plastic straws make when China is still heavily industrialized? Good question.
Wasn't China changing that now? They fucked it up hella quick. I don't know. I heard they're doing a lot now to change that.
Ooh, Robin Williams came back to life and donated $10. Africa, such a beautiful yet disturbing place. They were talking. That's when we were talking about the child bride thing from.
It is beautiful.
Fidel Castro, $4.20. Viva la Revolucion, Jimmy.
Another guy back from the dead. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I found a new respect for you, Jimmy. So Fidel Castro supports Jimmy.
Nice.
Crazy Vincent, CNN sucks. Alaska Tundra Wolf. Whoa. Say hi to my dogs Dakota and Roscoe. Hi, Dakota and Roscoe.
Hi, puppers.
Hey, Dakota, Roscoe.
I thought that poll with Biden leading was skewed. Oversampled older Democrats and leaving out millennial and independents. Also, get rid of the Electoral College and give statehood to Puerto Rico. Get the president of Puerto Rico on the phone. I want them to become a state.
Hey, we don't need the phone. He's right here. Just go talk to the mirror.
Murdered Carrot, $10. I'll help reach that goal a little bit. Thank you. Was that through? Oh yeah, that was through Streamlabs.
Beautiful.
Thanks for helping us. So Vadim, before we went on the air earlier, you're mentioning like a new direction with your channel, right?
Yeah, I'm just it's CC is still the focus point of the channel, but I'm kind of doing videos myself here and there, trying to get like one long form video in each month. I did one on my MythCon experience / Armored Skeptic last that I posted at the beginning of the month. That is I don't know, gone over pretty well, and I'm gonna be doing one on white genocide pretty soon. The cringy side of white genocide. That's the going title.
The cringy side of white genocide?
Yeah, there's some really, if you look out there's some really hilarious stuff of just total morons that talk about white genocide. A lot of people may not know this, but white genocide refers to basically a conspiracy theory. There's two definitions of white genocide that are bullshit. One is that it's basically a word that racists use for brown people and black people fucking white people and having babies.
Well, that's ridiculous, of course.
Yes, and then there's also a conspiracy theory that goes even farther that says that that the Jews are basically like plotting flooding our countries with immigrants in order to like dwindle the white population, and
I think
it's all a bunch of garbage.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
what?
Oh, I'm not denying people say this. It's just like these are radical ideas that people are saying. Absolutely. So. Yeah, well, you'd be surprised. I mean, people like Stephen Molyneux, Lauren Southern, they basically talk about these things. Sometimes they use terms like the Great Replacement, which is basically just a synonym for white genocide. And I think there's lots of others that I'm probably forgetting right now who are popular on YouTube who have used the term. And there's some really hilarious videos on YouTube that are just like there are these Euro dance songs that have been made about white genocide that are just fucking hysterical.
They
so I'm
sound
just going
good?
to take the piss out of those. What's that?
Do they have a good beat?
No, I mean, I think it's really shitty DJ work.
So Vadim, you didn't have an enjoyable experience at MythCon?
No, I actually did enjoy MythCon. I mean, like, I wasn't expecting to. In terms of the actual discussion that was had, it was kind of a joke because it was basically like 4-on-1 counting the moderator who was not very moderate. But that being said, I felt like I totally held my own. It wasn't just 4-on-1. You also had the audience, which was barking like they were at a wrestling match and I was the fucking heel. And and you know what? And that was all great. I mean, like even though that was not a very fair dynamic, I just had kind of like, all right, bring it the fuck on, everybody. I'll take on all you guys. And I feel like I feel like I got my point across, and I didn't let people walk all over me, and yeah. So and then also in terms of the whole thing, like I got along with most people. There were some people there that I thought were pieces of shit that I just didn't want to have much to do with, and I think it was mutual. But for the most part, I got along with most of the people there.
Yeah, I did watch your video, and there is a part in the video Guess what, Billy? There's a part in the video where Vadim is filming himself walking down the street, and guess who's standing behind him?
Oh no,
Matt Jarbo.
Yeah, standing behind people at a con again.
It happens, dude. Matt's always behind you at every convention you go to. Matt's always behind you. It's amazing. It's phenomenal.
He photobombed us, but you know, like I actually like. Look, I know that there are like he's perhaps got some transgressions behind him. Overall, I think he's a pretty funny, fun guy, and you know, like I think he's definitely both apologized and paid the price for anything that he did remotely wrong. He was also blamed for shit that he didn't do. Like there was a certain amount that he did.
But that's because he lied about enough of the shit that he did do that we can't trust him,
it was
right?
boy that cried wolf syndrome.
Yeah,
right.
So he's gonna eat that shit regardless. I like Matt.
I mean, it reminds me a little bit of what happened to fucking Crouten T, who got all this shit for the server that he created. And if you really look into that, he really didn't do anything wrong. Now Matt arguably did more wrong than Kraut did. But a lot of the hubbub, a lot of the that is just not a word that I fucking use. Why am I saying hubbub? But yeah, a lot of like the shit that he got over that was just totally manufactured. And a lot of the people that criticized him for that shit have done far worse, ethically far worse stuff.
Okay, so we'll forgive Matt because everybody who's criticizing him is a shitheel, right? I'll forgive Matt because Matt's my friend and we make mistakes, right? That's why I'll forgive Matt. Like I don't watch Matt's content. I don't think
that's basically what I'm saying. But I mean, like I remember there was one time that like you know that he like we were like
all
he
I
didn't
did.
say, like,
I just want to point out. All I did was mention that he was standing behind him.
But we were
so that when I get blocked on Twitter later for what you guys are saying,
well, I thought you already got blocked.
No, I got unfollowed.
Oh, okay.
I had someone else on the show one day, and they like tore Matt a new asshole. Next thing I know, I'm unfollowed on Twitter by Matt and everything. So now here's another situation where all I did was bring up that he was standing behind Vadim. But watch, because you guys are goofing on Matt. Next thing, I'm gonna be blocked or something.
I'm not goofing on Matt. I think Matt has gotten far more shit than he deserves. And
I even said that.
I
That's the hilarious
thing. I think he's a decent YouTuber. Like, you know, I mean, there are certainly things that I disagree with him on, but then there's things that I know that he disagrees with me on. So, you know, like, at the end of the day, I think he's an all right dude who has changed a lot over the past several years. Like, some people kind of like bring up stuff that he said in like 2013, which is arguably shitty, but I don't know. I think he's become a better person since
the
then.
shit he said back then, who cares? Like,
well, some people some people do. Some people bring it up, you know? So,
well, people are going to bring up whatever.
The only people that bring it up are people like that would be more likely to think that kind of shit was funny anyway.
See, I would think it would be worth bringing up if it wasn't stuff that he has addressed and said, like, because he has said like several times, like, hey, you know, when I first started on YouTube, I was kind of a bit of a different person, and I've been kind of a dick. I've said some douchey things.
He should have just said that shit was funny. He should have said, like, I don't really. It just sounds like something a lawyer would write. He should have just said, you know, I'm not into that type of humor anymore, but I thought that was funny back then.
Well, I don't know exactly what he said because I don't have a photographic memory, but it sounded like an earnest. It sounded like an earnest, like, confession to me. Like it did not sound
like Ernest
like manufactured at all. This was actually before, you know, all the shit that he got, you know, Medicare video and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know.
So
look,
I get it.
Vadim,
armored stick.
I think the best punishment we could ask for Mundane Matt at this point is that he starts a podcast with you. Let's make it happen.
Well, I already have a podcast that's going to be happening with Tim Demotivator, Opinion, and Cult of Dusty. So
okay. Should we add Matt to it?
Hard, but I don't know.
Matt would be like the right winger on that show.
I think we need Matt there as a counterbalance.
Yes, we'll see.
No. You know,
you know what? I want to say something real quick because I had some people who did send me some stuff that I totally cannot remember about what's his face, the quartering. However, I was trying to find stuff online, you know, just to back up what I said. I can't find anything. So for that reason, I want to withdraw what I said. What I said very well may not be true. And even though that I'm not a big fan of the quartering, I don't want to kind of perpetuate
I mean, like,
about him.
We
So I just want to say that
we can't let our bias cloud our better judgment. You know,
I would hope, yeah.
Yeah, just because we may not like someone doesn't mean that claims that they make are completely false.
Sure, that wasn't the reason why I expressed skepticism in the first place. I had some people who wrote me who and I really can't remember what it is, and I get so many messages that it'd be very difficult to find, who are like, hey, look at this, I think this is bullshit for this reason, you should look into this.
Billy the Fridge.
But because of the fact that I can't find anything out there that I combed several what fucking articles on it, and there's nothing there. So I don't want to leave that hanging. I do want to say that there's a very good chance I was wrong about that, and if that's the case, I apologize and just
sure, whatever. Why some people giving you shit for it now or something?
No, they're not.
Oh, okay.
I don't like to. I mean, maybe they have. I don't know. I haven't been looking at the chat, but like, I'm the kind of person who, like, I like to be honest, and if something I said is wrong, I like to correct it.
Our patron guest here had a question, I think, about Armored Skeptic. I thought I heard you say.
Sure.
Yeah, that's correct. I just wanted to just hear your thoughts on what it was like to meet him, what was it like in person, and yeah, what was it like to like talk with him?
Well, I recommend watching the video I'll answer the question. I recommend watching the video because I go far more in depth about it. I actually enjoyed meeting. I enjoyed meeting both him and Shoe on Head. Shoe on Head was very huggy to a lot of us. Like people like Michael Rollins and Preciosity and stuff. What?
Was she like drinking or something?
No, she wasn't. She I think she's just naturally kind of a nice person, and I think that she appreciated the fact that we were willing to be there and have these discussions.
Yeah. I've met both Greg and June before. I had breakfast with them once. During VidCon. I think they're cool. Hung out with them twice during that time. So was it mainly just you had the disagreements on stage publicly, and
no. There's a lot more to it than that. I mean, I go into this in the video, but and this was something that I was able to let go, but like when I was on stage. But afterwards, for several reasons, this kind of pissed me off more. Like, basically, okay, the first thing is this: we had a pre-discussion on Skype where the four of us minus the moderator were talking about just what we were going to talk about in the conversation. And before anyone else got there, we were the first two people there, and I said to him, like, hey man, like, you and I, we've kind of like exchange pot shots at each other on Twitter, and I want to have a productive conversation live, so I hope that we can just kind of leave all of that petty shit off the table. Maybe I didn't put it exactly like that, but that's basically what he said, and he was like, oh yeah, that's what Twitter's for. It's totally, let's just forget about that. Well, he ended up bringing up tweets that I supposedly said, which I asked him to send me afterwards, and he was never able to furnish them. He said that I slandered him, even though that would be libel technically, since it's the written word, not the spoken word.
Yeah, I mean, but that's semantics, right?
Yeah, okay, fine, that's semantics. He said that I slandered him as for being right wing when really what I said is that I think he has a right-wing leaning bias, like a center right-leaning bias. And I think that that's actually, like, after combing over his videos and his Twitter, I think that that's actually generous. And
really?
so,
you think he's a right-winger?
Oh, yeah. I think that he has right-wing biases that he does not realize. I don't think that he really kind of knows that much about politics. I think he kind of bullshits a lot about.
Do you factor
politics.
in your left-wing biases when you say that?
Yeah. Sure, I do. But you know, I mean, watch the video. I think that there's plenty. I offer plenty of weird tweets that the dude has made that I think kind of show him to be, at the very least, a center-right leaning kind of guy. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm not crazy about it, but I'm cooler with people who either recognize that that's what they are, or are just willing to say, like, yep, that's where I fall. And so then, not only that, after that occurred, he came up to me at the con and we talked, and he said that he thought that he wished that it was just the two of us speaking, which was flattering.
I wish it would just been the two of us.
And he also said, hey, let's make response videos to one another. And when we do, let's not, I mean, he said something like, let's not YouTube shit on each other or something like that. And he made a video that I thought was, I mean, maybe that was like his twisted point of view of things, but I thought it was incredibly uncharitable. I thought it was a total straw man of my positions. And so I made a video back to him that I was, you know, very like kind of frank about how I kind of feel about the guy. I mean, I think that he's a good video maker, but he has he's made lots of videos with total bullshit inside them. I mean, like, all you have to do, if you guys are skeptical of what I'm saying, watch Logic's video. Logic is by no means like some, like, you know, huge lefty, but he made a video, two-part video on a 20-minute video that Greg made on Canadian law and freedom of speech, and he just kind of tears him to shreds. And the amount of just falsities that he has inside that video is just, it's crazy. And the fact that he keeps it up and calls himself a skeptic, I have a problem with that. You know, like, if he didn't have the name skeptic attached to him, maybe that would fly with me, but it's just sort of like he's representing skepticism, and ideally that should be something that should be like a pursuit of the truth. How do
you feel about his recent lack of armor?
I think that's a decent move for him. I think he's actually like pretty charming on video. Like I don't think he's a bad, like in terms of his like presentation and his like, you know, his cadence and everything. Like, it's good. I still enjoy his movie review videos. Those are pretty fucking funny.
Do you think you could take him in a fist fight?
Stop asking him questions, please.
Do you think you could take him in a fist fight, Vadim?
Dude. Well, I think that's a cue for me not to talk.
No. I was trying to get to something, and he was just gonna keep it going on forever. And I saw the look on his face.
Yeah.
All right. So
no. That pretty much wraps it up. You know, I mean, and all the stuff that I've said, I pretty much say in the video that I made. So, you know, there's if you want the full story, it's all there. Watch
Check out Vadim's website for the full story.
Yeah, he made a video on it. I watched the video. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Check it out for the full story. Now, what's this TM?
So this became a meme afterwards. Vadim's sitting here. He's been photoshopped sitting like this.
Shit. That's no bueno.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I kind of became a meme as I'm hearing myself.
Yeah, you're echoing back in the other guy's.
Hello.
All right.
Hey.
All right, cool. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it became a meme. I use those. I got like over 100 submissions that were totally fucking awesome that are in the video as well.
You do not look happy at all. I mean, you know, like, you could take a candid photo of anybody and make them look however you want, but you just look.
That's kind of like, so somebody photoshopped me next to a park bench next to Keanu Reeves, the unhappy sandwich eating Reeves meme.
Yeah.
So, I was in a really good mood right there. They just kind of caught me at this point where I just look super pissed off.
Yeah.
It's a good thinker pose. You look like the thinker. Like maybe you're on the toilet having a good think and a shit. What are you drinking there?
I believe I'm drinking. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's a Milwaukee brew.
Huh.
It's I just don't remember the name of it. It's something that I had never had before that is popular in Milwaukee.
All right, I'm gonna play Von Helton.
Lord Helton. I love how Vadim, this is what we know about Vadim. He brings girls home from Applebee's and they shit the bed.
No, the girl that shat the bed, that's when I was living in New York, dude.
Oh.
That was way before my Applebee's
Folks.
days.
Oh.
What if I told you that this recent election has seen the violation of the law?
Ooh.
They say, well, of course, Von. And the allegation is that there was ballots that suddenly materialized out of nowhere and literally flung all the Democrats into office and flung all the Republicans out into the water. Yes, but that's not the law breaking I'm talking about.
Oh.
Not necessarily. I'll talk about that too, but I'm not necessarily talking about that one. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. I'll speed it up.
78 intros.
Is that his typical opening?
Yes. Von Helton.
No, I mean, does he usually do the fist
that's his
bump
call.
thing?
He does.
Let's
he
get
does.
into it.
I thought he does it with his.
He chucks his thumb back.
Let's get into it.
I think he forgot to put his thumb out this time because his fucking knucklehead.
Alrighty, folks. Here's what we're looking at. Islam is not allowed in the United States.
Huh?
Von, that's preposterous. Now look at it. U.S. Immigration, 1952, McCarran-Walters Act. It is the law, revised and reaffirmed in 1965. Still active and still on the books. Federal law. Whereas in Islam and Sharia law is not compatible with U.S. law or the U.S. Constitution and calls for its destruction, and therefore it is banned from entry into the United States.
Not true.
Chapter 2, Section 212 is a prohibition of the entry to the U.S. if the alien belongs to an organization seeking to overthrow the government of the United States by force, violence, or other unconstitutional means.
Okay, sure, that's true.
Does the Quran call for non-Muslim nations to be conquered by Islam? Yes, it does. And it's not a suggestion, okay, because I know somebody, well, it's just a suggestion. No, it's not a suggestion. It is a command from their God to take over non-Muslim countries. Note that this has nothing to do with radical Islam. This is the so-called moderate Muslims we're talking about here, are commanded by their God to take over your country.
How the fuck are they moderate if they want to take over the country? You're so full of shit.
Because the extreme
I'm
ones.
certain that the Bible also mandates the same thing. Like it asks the same thing of Christians. So
I mean, one thing that is true about Islam is that Islam was created by tribes of barbarians. That is true.
But this is different than
they
Christian
both were. They both were. I mean,
kind of.
Arguably, the Islamic religion they were a bit worse. But
they were like a nation. Like there was no like Christian nation at the time of Jesus being alive. That came later.
Christianity also a jump start because of the Roman Empire embracing it.
Yeah, that's when it actually became a force to be reckoned with, and that was so long after the original Christians came about. So,
and this is different than the Christians.
There were whole
over.
Parts of the world taken over, and then there were really large Islamic empires after that. There was the Ottoman Empire. That took over parts of, what had been Rome at one time.
A lot of people don't realize that I think it was Spain was under Islamic rule for hundreds of years. It's true.
Yeah, it's true. There are even some words in Spanish that have Arabic roots to them. It's not that surprising because North Africa is full of Muslims, and Spain almost touches Africa. There's actually parts of Spain that are actually on the African continent that are part of the country of Spain. If you look at a map really close, they're near Morocco, in the northern part, like near the Gibraltar Strait over there.
My country, any country that is not Muslim. That is what the Quran and Hadith say. I'm not making this shit up, because that'll be another. Well, Von Hilton is making that shit up. No, I'm not either. No, I'm not. Wish it was, but I'm not.
I mean, the Ottoman Empire was so recent that they were even involved in World War I, So it wasn't even that long ago when you really think about it, like 100 years ago.
And we still put our feet up on their furniture. An ottoman, the little footrest thing.
Oh my
God! To put a finer
God!
point on it, we're going to discuss a little country called Lebanon. Okay. Let us discuss Lebanon, shall we?
Okay. What about it?
All right. Let me go ahead and hide me here because I want you to be able to read right along with me.
Oh, good.
Okay. First, I got to back it up here just a little.
Good old
bit.
Von Helton removing his camera.
All right. Up here at the top. On 1 September 1920, France reestablished Greater Lebanon after the Mustafa rule removed several regions belonging to the Principality of Lebanon, gave them to Syria. Ooh, that's not good. Lebanon was a largely Christian country.
It was like there were a lot of Catholic Lebanese in Lebanon.
Christian, mainly Mennonite territory with some Greek Orthodox, but it also included areas containing many Muslims and Druze. 1 September 1926, France formed the Lebanese Republic. A constitution was adopted. 25th May, establishing a democratic republic with a parliamentary system of government. Lebanon gained a measure of independence while France was occupied by Germany. We don't need that information. What?
We don't need this information.
We don't need to read this. It was a Christian nation. Okay, and you'll notice here it said it also included areas containing Muslims and Druze, but it says citation needed. Yeah, in other words, they ain't got no proof to back up what they say on that shit. No, it was a Christian nation, folks. Started by France.
So was Syria. There were even some early Catholic popes that were Syrian. I mean, like, I don't know if they were like officially a Christian nation, like they were. Well, actually, they may have been. I don't know the history far back enough to know when there were so many Christians living in that part of the world. Who was in charge back then? But yeah, sure,
France,
whatever.
Yeah,
people of different tribes of different religions kill one another and take one another's land. Whatever. What's new about this?
Or by France, I should say. And Lebanon goes all the way back to the days of Canaan. The cedars of Lebanon. The Bible speaks of the cedars of Lebanon. In other words, Lebanon had trees that were beautiful. They were one of the great wonders of the world. Wonder where all those trees are today. Oh yeah, they're destroyed, just like Beirut. All right. Anyways, let's go on down here because we.
Let's go on down here. Read some more Wikipedia. A little bit. Top quality content.
Civil War and Syrian occupation. In 75, following increasing sectarian tensions, full-scale civil war broke out in Lebanon. Lebanese civil war pitted a coalition of Christian groups against joint forces of the PLO. That's PLO,
yeah.
Palestinian.
So is his entire evidence is that Muslims took over countries that were Christian at one point? Sure.
Brown men.
There was also Christian armies taking over Muslim areas too, like crusades and shit. So it happens on both sides. So the
Liberation Organization. Okay, so the Palestinians, so-called, were actually fighting in Lebanon. Left-wing Druze and Muslim militias. In June 76, Lebanese President Elias Sarkis asked for the Syrian army to intervene on the side of the Christians and help restore peace. In October 76, the Arab League agreed to establish a predominantly Syrian Arab deterrent force, which was charged with restoring calm. In 1982, the PLO attacks from Lebanon on Israel led to an Israeli invasion. A multinational force of American, French, Italian contingents, joined in 83 by a British contingent, were deployed in Beirut after the Israeli siege of the city to supervise the evacuation of the PLO. It returned in September 1982 after the assassination of Bashir Ghimid and subsequent fighting. During this time, a number of massacres occurred, such as Sabra and whatever.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, watching you read a Wikipedia article is so fucking dumb.
We want to hear him say some stupid shit.
Quick and easy.
Get him away from the fucking script. Get him in his spitballing mode.
I mean, he's reading shit that.
All right, Bridget Gabrielle here. And
what about her? Oh my God, what are you trying to do?
Yeah. It's hard to work with. Anyway,
what you doing,
Vaughn? There she is. All right, she was a survivor of the Christian Holocaust. And that's what it was. It was a wholesale slaughter of Christians in Lebanon. And she's a
Isn't
survivor.
she a Fox News commentator?
All right.
I don't know.
How did she survive, Bon? She survived by
I
hiding
think
in the
she
sewers.
is.
If she hadn't hidden in the sewer, she'd be dead too. The Muslims slaughtered everyone they could get their hands on. Everyone they could get their hands on. And she escaped. All right. Now, why is that significant? That's significant because we have just put 2 Muslims in our Congress. Not to mention the fact that, according to what I'm hearing on Twitter...
Yeah, but they're not a part of, like, an Islamic revolution in Lebanon. They're just... they're people that are taking oaths to put service towards their country ahead of pretty much anything else, right?
Yeah, one of them actually, I was kind of a little pissed because she seemed a little progressive. She backed Pelosi as Speaker of the House today, and I was just like, oh, lame. It's too bad.
Well, I mean, if Pelosi helps give them money to help their election campaigns, then of course they're going to be on her side. So
build the dome.
Just
Build
think about
the dome.
how many Democrats there are in Congress, and how many of them got helped by Pelosi to get reelected. You know.
Yeah.
So she'll get their votes for sure.
Although I doubt Pelosi did much stumping for this woman, because this woman, you know, she kind of campaigned on a pretty like progressive platform. So, yeah. I mean, she wears is it a hijab? Is the hijab just the scarf? Or I get these things mixed up. But she's still pretty left wing with her politics. Like, she's not like looking for some fucking Islamic caliphate or something.
Yeah. I mean, I have a hard time believing that these people that got elected are somehow like terrorist sleeper cells that are infiltrating our government. I don't buy it. I think people would be able to tell, you know.
Yeah, it's not like Linda Sarsour got not that Linda Sarsour is quite at that. I mean, she sucks. She's not quite at that level where she's like wanting to like cut off infidels' heads and shit. But it's, you know, she's way worse.
Well, I think if she was going to cut off the infidels' heads, then the Republicans would support her, right? Because like Trump came out today saying that he supports Saudi Arabia, longtime friends of America. So.
True. That's a good point, man.
I think it's anti-Muslim for us not to support Saudi Arabia, right? I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know anymore. I just want Vince McMahon to go back and do Crown Jewel 2.
Jewel 2.
More wrestling in Saudi Arabia, please. I'm tired of these women mucking up my wrestling show.
Yeah, in your main event, the combined age of all the wrestlers is like fucking 200.
I saw it.
You've got issues. That's what it was.
It was only 200?
I don't know.
Yeah, I figured they were all hitting 50 by now. But long story short, Von Helton is trying to convince us that Brown Man bad.
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 Ben PC.
Ben PC? Yeah, I don't know. Fuck Von Helton right now. After that 48-minute episode where he was talking about lasers coming down from the sky.
Yeah, Elon Musk has orbital lasers to burn California so we can build a high-speed rail.
This is pretty tame compared to that.
It took him 48 minutes to do that?
Yeah, well, it wasn't 48 minutes, but he just
It was long.
This entire documentation with photographic evidence. These are lasers coming down from the sky. That's why the fires are happening in California.
One of them looked like the sunset. One of the pictures of the lasers. Let's watch this.
This is a "How are you doing" message. I used to get them from Russians, then I got them from Nigerians, then I got them from Ghanaians, and I would play them along for a while. And yesterday I got one from a Philippine girl, or man, and she asks, "How are you doing?" So I reply, "How are you doing is more to the point. I feel sorry for the poor Philippine people."
Holy shit, he can type better than he can read.
What are you saying? What are you saying, ugly fucking arsehole dog, you fucking bitch? Now, Some people might have ended the conversation there, but not me. So, but I do feel that escalated quite quickly, and the person obviously knew that I was stringing them along. And so, if you do get these "How are you" messages, you're probably like me. You look old, male, and they think because they put up an attractive picture, and sometimes themselves. And
this is a guy that pisses in the sink.
So if you are elderly, you know,
to release
like
his
60
testosterone into
over,
the water
and
stream.
the young attractive woman, I still can't believe these people make.
It was a catfish.
Make money.
He's getting trolled.
You must be so stupid if you reply, or you send these people money if you really believe that they fancy you or want a relationship with you. So there you go. I think it escalated quite quickly.
Why
so
are
there
you
have
in the
it.
path
If you
of
get
my smoke
any
blowing?
messages from
I don't know, man.
her name's Jolene as well. Jolene. Don't take me just because I'm an old man. There you have it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe or share.
His phone looks like
gone blank. Oh my god!
What did I just watch?
So this guy is crazy old, like alt-right Santa. He's just
Is he alt-right?
I don't even know if he's alt-right.
I don't think he's any. I've never heard him talk about anything alt-right. I think he's just weird.
He lives in Japan, and he's like this old fucking
North English, I think.
He's North English man, but he's just got this like this toxic masculinity
Is that where
about
he's
him.
from? Maybe I don't know.
I look at this guy, I look at his phone, I look at his typing, and I wonder how the fuck he survived. He wouldn't have survived in a world without white privilege. I'm sorry.
I love his phone. It's awesome. I want one.
Did you hear about the woman who's suing, I believe, iPhone because her iPhone like broke in her vagina or something? She's suing them for $2 million. Looks like this guy's trying to get a settlement too, because his phone is busted.
All right, what's this next thing?
He crazy.
GameStop return policy rage.
It's their policy. Like, it won't even come back in as a return for a brand new game. And when I scan your receipt, it's going to see when this one was bought, and it's going to automatically give you trade credit. How you doing today, sir?
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Whoa.
My guy.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
He fucking wrecked that place.
Poor Snorlax. Look at fucking Snorlax dead on the floor. He's just madding around.
Well, was there something that provoked that? I kind of
Yeah, he wouldn't. They wouldn't take his
All of a
return.
sudden it started happening.
They wouldn't take his return for his system.
Oh, okay. Well, then that makes sense. I'd be pissed off too.
Yeah, but we don't do that. I mean, like, that's probably something he could be arrested for.
Of course,
Yeah.
he just destroyed property.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Okay, this is Gail Kordschuler, Gabriel Chana, and I want to inform you about a new section to my website. Let's try this again. Let's go this way. If you go to GabrielChana.com.
Did she black out the eyes on that photograph and then put the eyes separated?
I think so.
What's the point?
Gail, someone needs to show you how to use maybe Streamlabs OBS.
I was just gonna mention that I love it when people have been online for years and still put the fucking camera up to the computer screen. It's just like, come on. I don't care if you're like, what is she, like 75 years old?
She's probably in her late 50s, early 60s. I'd
Probably
say.
in her busted ass
maybe I'm
40s.
eyeballing it, but still, by now she should learn how to use like a screen sharing program.
PORTFOLIO.html. You'll get to the web page that I'm talking about. And if you go to the top,
Old people always have
and
that
you
dot
click
HTML
onto
at
the
the
top,
end of their
let's see
URLs.
if I can move this here.
HTML.
Click onto the top.
Click onto the top.
You can see what I'm talking about. Let me try to move this here.
Oh my God! Screen in screen.
So when you open up on the page, you come up here to the top.
Oh my God, Gail!
It'll say right here.
It's
click
not
here to
working.
view 1,000-pound Jesuit woman who raped Judge Terrence Jenkins. So you click there, and it takes you right to this screen right here. And then it says right here, Jesuits punish Harvard Law School graduate Judge Terrence Jenkins for supporting Gail in the Quebec trial. This is on my webpage.
How could they do
I'm going
this?
to read you what I have in here. Gail received the information on this page via a Skype conversation October 12, 2011 with Terrence Jenkins. Terrence texted Brent Spiner and Vladimir Putin during the Skype conversation to email to Gail the photos you see on this page. What followed was a lively four-way discussion in which Brent and Vladimir texted Terrence to reveal more of their passion for Gail. Jesuits kidnapped Judge Terrence Jenkins September 21st, 2011. His companion while at the cattle slaughterhouse was Sarah Avery.
Any of this?
Be right back.
Okay. Vadim just has to leave. He can't even handle the Gail insanity.
You can't face the truth.
I'm mad in the shitty camera work with the all the words you can't even read.
Yeah, I can't even read it.
Totally makes sense for Gail, though.
How about this guy? He sets fire to Nike shoes inside of a store.
Yo, Nike, you know why the fuck your sneaker ain't selling?
Oh.
You know why your sneaker ain't selling, Nike?
I like this guy's shirt.
Nike, because Nike stock drops.
Listen, make sure this guy's okay.
I'm all right. Don't fucking ask about me, man.
No, listen. Just make sure he's all right, guys, please.
I'm all right, man.
Make sure,
Don't
get
fuck-
a sneaker for him.
Nike, you know why your shit doing this, Nike?
What the fuck is he doing?
You know why your shit doing this, Nike?
Get the fucking sneaker.
Oh, he's getting lumped up?
Yo, motherfucker! Yo, what you doing? What you doing, my nigga? Motherfucker! Fuck out of here, nigga! Don't listen to me!
Hey!
Listen to me, motherfucker! You don't fucking do that
Get that shit, my nigga.
You don't do this in that store! You don't fucking... Get him down! Get him down!
I wonder if this is staged.
It might be.
Oh, no. I mean, his ass is hanging out. But
Yeah, but I've staged a bunch of stuff where my ass hangs out.
why would the person who was filming him originally stick
Keep
around?
filming? Yeah, it probably is staged.
That's what I would say. Like,
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I just I got really triggered. You know,
don't apologize,
Vadim.
Vadim.
It's hard for me to watch your
Don't-
videos.
Yeah, don't apologize. Like, everybody in the chat was super happy when you left. I'm kidding.
I'm sure they were. Suck it.
Suck it. Oh, great. You got back just a Lesbo attack. Say what you want about Wild Bill, but his video titles are always ridiculous.
Lawsuit against Kathy Miller after she declined to bake a cake that supported same-sex marriage. The lesbians are claiming that Kathy had maliciously stunned, offended, and hurt them deeply. They were so traumatized by being told no that they were physically disabled with nosebleeds and crippling pain. Well, it turned out that the two lesbians had been wearing hidden microphones and going from bakery to bakery searching for a Christian who would decline their request.
Thank God
Those
they found
two
one.
perverts weren't traumatized. They were
perverts.
Those two perverts weren't traumatized.
Yeah, he's over the top.
Like this still exists in the world.
Oh, Wild Bill.
Yeah, Wild Bill for America.
delighted that Kathy told them no, because that gave them the opportunity to pretend to be offended, to attack and destroy a Christian business, and no doubt make a little money along the way. Oh, Lord, give me strength. And if you do, I'll probably need bail money to go along with it.
Oh,
wow.
Saucy.
Yeah, Lord,
Look
give
at
me patience.
Look at Wild Bill getting all boner hard to beat up some lesbians. That's a cowboy right there.
Yep.
Listen up, America. As of today, the greatest threat to the Christian church is not Islam. It would be, but Islam is not yet strong enough in the USA. The greatest threat to Christians in the USA are the militant homosexuals. Ever since Obama opened the floodgates of perversion on America, an army of sexual perverts has risen up, targeting the children of America for recruitment and the Christian church for destruction. Civil rights law.
Yeah, what kind of world does this guy live in? You know, he made a claim.
I was thinking the exact same thing, Ben. Like, what world is this guy living in? I've met gay people. Like, in my city I live in. Like, you know, there's some of the friendliest people I ever met. It's just like, What is this guy talking
murderers.
about?
To be fair, though,
it's just hilarious because he's talking about these lesbians like they're these snowflakes, and I mean he's just fucking triggered as hell by people sucking dicks and going down on each other, and it's just like like he's the fucking snowflake here.
To be fair, though,
obviously.
like Wild Bill does have a point. Before Obama opened the floodgates, like the gays weren't able to recruit the children because the Christians would recruit the children and then put them through aversion therapy for sucking. Right? They had the anti-gay therapy camps for the gay kids. So that was the Christians' job. So basically, what he's saying is the gays are taking the Christians' job. Give the gays back to the Christians.
Lawsuits are their current weapon of choice. They go looking for a Christian church or business and then push the homosexual agenda in their faces. And when Christians stand firm in the faith, they get hauled into court by a fake lawsuit. Intimidation is the name of the game, and their intimidation tactics are going to escalate. As a 20-year law enforcement officer, I can tell you that the homosexual community...
You know, he claimed that he was going to Canada to give some kind of speech. And when he crossed the border, they asked him why he was there, and he told them what he was going to do. And they looked at his speech and decided it was hate speech and wouldn't let him into the country.
Or they knew he didn't have a visa for a speaking commitment in Canada, so they turned him away. You don't want to tell people you're going to fucking speak somewhere if you don't have a working visa, because it's considered a job and you're taken away from the Canadian economy by not getting your working
you should
visa.
never go into Canada saying you're going to work unless you have a visa.
Like when I went to Canada, I would go up there to train pro wrestling. I was never
Just
working
say you're going
pro
there to
wrestling.
like visit your friend.
Yeah, I wouldn't
or,
even say.
like-
I was like, I'm going to hang out with my buds.
Yeah,
'Cause I was.
something like that.
I was hanging out with my buds. Like, I'm going to spend a couple money, a couple bucks on some fucking Canadian poutines. I want to put some money in your economy. I want to slap some boys around in the wrestling ring. I didn't say that, but I would go up there all the fucking time. They would always question you. And
It's
if
a
you
good
said
time up there.
It's a good time. If you said some weird shit at the border, they would turn you away. I'm sure this guy's like, well, I'm going to speak at a convention, and I'm getting paid $240 to be there. They're like, okay, well,
Yeah, I went
working permit, bitch.
I went to Canada on July 1st, and there was a park right across the street from the train station. I took the train up there, and when I got up there was literally a park where people were selling weed, like out in the open. Like they had it was like people setting up tables with different kinds of weed and just selling it out in public.
It was like a Renaissance fair.
Yeah, it was like a Renaissance fair of weed.
But with weed instead
You
of
could sit
knights
there in the
and
grass
princesses.
and smoke weed, and then there was people selling it. They had baked goods. It was wonderful.
It was delicious. Weed
Smoke
pot
weed every
pie.
day.
Swed.
is one of the most violent groups in America. Ask any homicide detective. Unfortunately, the state judge in California saw through this fake lawsuit and threw it out, ruling in favor of Kathy Miller's First Amendment rights. But believe it or not, California refiled the case against Kathy. The California state government has been showing consistent hostility towards Christians. No surprise there, since California prides itself on being the world capital of sexual perversion and pornography.
The world capital of...
California will stop at nothing to exterminate Christian moral standards in their state. Meanwhile, Kathy Miller and her family...
What about Bangkok or something like that? Wouldn't that be more perverted?
I mean, I could imagine, based
than,
on the articles alone,
California.
that Florida is more perverted than California.
Yeah.
And he's from Florida.
Yeah, that is weird. Yeah, you could hang out with this guy, Vadim.
You should drive down and have a beer with him.
I don't think he's those waves. There's nowhere near me that have. I think he's probably
He's probably in southern Florida, right?
Lauderdale or some shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty far away.
If I would have known where
He's
he
worth
was
the trip.
when I was in Fort
It'd be
Lauderdale,
worth it. I'd take a fucking road trip to chill with this guy.
would you
with
drink
Wild
some of those
Bill.
beers with him on stage?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah! Are you drinking a margarita?
We could talk about how, I don't know, gays are trying to indoctrinate the youth with, I don't know, with their boners.
Whoa, not with their boners, with their ideology. The gays are trying to teach the kids it's okay to be gay, and that goes directly against the Christians who have had basically the gay death camps. They don't kill the kids, but they kill the gay out of them, right?
Christians.
Yeah. They have those turn you straight camps, like scared straight camps.
Hypothesis sent in $5 a little while ago, and he said Vadim was probably salty as fuck in that pick after getting totally owned. Granted, it was 3-on-1.
And the crowd was like a WWE wrestling match crowd.
I know that's the way that it like I agreed with a decent amount of what he had to say, you know, and it's sort of like it was a little weird because, you know, he's up to 11 the entire fucking time, and I still maintain that his, you know, even though that I'm like totally on board with all the policies that he is for, like just the idea of creating this third party, it's just a fucking pie in the sky thing that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And the dude, like, honestly, I mean, like he, it's not surprising to me that he would come up with something like that, because it's, you know, he has kind of, like, he's talked about Seth Rich conspiracies. He's talked about a lot of stuff that just is not really like based in reality. So, like, I admire his passion and where he stands on the policies, but it's just sort of like, I don't know, like I wish the dude would put a little more time into bashing Trump, who I know he hates, and I don't know. I don't think I don't think his method of attack is as effective as he believes it is. I mean, it's very convincing. It's like he has fire and passion. So like he puts it across well, and he can win people over that way. But it's just in terms of like an actual like viable strategy for winning the presidency, it's not happening.
Orange man bad.
And there you go.
Did you hear about the lettuce?
I want to read another one of these that came in. Matt Zilla, $10. Whatever happened to the conversation about vomiting and shitting? This show used to have class. Here's hoping 500 marks a return to glory. More vomit, more shit. Drain the bowels.
Yes. Drain the swampy bowels.
And then Jables sent one, said, Billy, are you being a sweet boy? Are you still being a sweet boy?
I'm a sweet boy.
Now.
I'm a sweet boy. I am a sweet boy.
Nope.
Bullshit, I am.
Yeah, bullshit. It's bullshit.
No, I am a sweet boy. Did you hear about the E. coli scare with the lettuce? They recalled lettuce. I went to Chipotle today to get a salad, and I had to get a pile of meat and cheese. Worst day of my life.
A pile of meat and cheese.
Yeah, a pile of meat and cheese was like some salsa on it. I was like, oh, this is not a salad.
I guess I'll put the timer up since we haven't really gotten very close to the goal, and then we'll go into the post show.
We're all stars now. Here on the post show. Those of you who are members of this channel, those of you that are $10 or above patrons, the post show will be a one-on-one opportunity for you to question religion, politics, and life itself, or dick and fart jokes. We haven't figured it out yet.
Oh, I forgot to mention something. CC, the Creationist Cat channel, reached a really awesome benchmark today. We got 66,666 subs.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, I mean, we're past that now. I think we're somewhere around 67,000, but still, like, I'm glad I've been wanting to hit that for a while.
You hit that shit like
so if you make it to 100,000, I want you to make an unboxing video where you cry your little eyes out while you read
I'll do it.
The letter from Susan Wojcicki.
Is this a Matt Jarbo reference?
Yeah.
Huh? I didn't reference anybody. You just did, sir.
Wow.
He's not the only one to cry opening I don't think that would lead me to cry. I think I'd be I'd be like, well, okay, this is cool, but I don't think it would bring me tears of joy.
Would you feel validated for all that you've done in the YouTube realm?
Maybe if I had reached 100,000 like 3 years ago, I would. But been around a while, you know. I mean, like basically, like I had like a pretty good trajectory, and then Kraut and T made this video that really threw a wrench in things, and it's only been recently that the channel has kind of picked up again in terms of just getting like, you know, like at least 100 subs a day.
Nice.
So I'm happy about that. You know, it's good. Like I think that there were some people who didn't totally know what I was about, who kind of like thought that I was right wing or centrist or something. And you know, you could be right wing and watch CC. I'm all for that, but you know, you just have to have an open mind.
Better late than never.
What's that?
Better late than never. You know, and again, 100,000 subs. Like took you some more years, but you know you're getting there now.
Yeah, and it's more quality subs, and I think the more stuff that I do on my own, I think that like CC is kind of a niche thing. I think it's sort of like punk rock. Like not everybody is into it, and that's fine. But you know, people. I think just people sometimes people don't know what the fuck to make of CC. Like there are a lot of comments that I'll get that will say things like, I thought this was an actual creationist channel and things like that.
Well, let them think that, right? That's their own stupid fucking fault.
Yeah,
People
well,
are dumb
I mean,
on YouTube all the time.
CC is a creationist, but anyhow.
I like the CC video you did of the Vigilant Christian. That was pretty. That was like a long time ago, but like
yeah, where he's doing like the satanic symbols. He says other people are doing this when it's satanic, but when he does it, it's perfectly normal.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's like the one where he's like, it looks like he's smoking a big fat doobie, like you Photoshop like a blunt in his hand. Yeah.
Yeah, we did a few good ones with him. He was going to be a guest on Creationist Cat Chat, but that never happened. I think he was in the end kind of just a little unwilling to do something that he thought was glorifying Satanism or some shit like that. But you know what? I have to say, to his credit, the guy when I got because I did end up getting a strike for the video that you're talking about, and everybody was blaming him, but he spoke up. He said that, you know, he made videos saying like, YouTube, please undo this. Like he has every right to mock me, and he actually wrote a letter for me to send to YouTube so that I could say like, hey, even the guy that I made the video about doesn't have a problem with it, and they did reverse it and they put the video back up. So that was pretty cool of him, you know. I mean, he's a little bit of a nutcase, but I think he has some principles, so that's good, you know.
No, yeah, that was good of him. You know, he didn't have to do that, and he chose to do that.
Dusty the Cockatiel's owner said, "Dang it, I wanted Jimmy to tell Dusty the Cockatiel that he's an adorable bird."
Oh.
So Ben, how's your surgery thing? How are you recovering from that?
Oh, I'm almost fully recovered from it. I still have aches and pains sometimes, but mostly I'm recovered from it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Which is good because I felt like I had aged 50 years after I had it.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Yeah. Walking all hunched over.
Yeah, you were beat up.
Yeah.
It's crazy when.
What is this countdown that we're looking at right now? What's this all about?
This is until the end of the show, and this is like their.
It's kind of just our wrap up.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We're sitting here, we're having our talk to give the viewers at home the chance to get their last little words in through Streamlabs and address the show that happened before. And you know, if you want Vadim, you could do a little rap battle. If you want to do a little rap battle, do a little rap battle.
You talking to me, or
I'm not even gonna like try and rap against you, dude.
Oh, not against me. I was gonna say you and Ben. No, we just kind of bullshit.
You guys played. I wish you guys played the footage of that Andy Nago guy. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I'm not
getting attacked with silly string by Antifa.
Was that the Portland thing that happened?
Yeah, I think it was in Portland. It was like some MRA gathering.
The pink hair girl.
What's that?
The pink hair girl.
That was just one part of it.
Oh.
There was a whole huge thing that happened in Portland.
There was
there was footage of some like it was pretty hysterical of like an Antifa dude mooning. I think it was a dude, might have been a girl, mooning a cop and going fuck you. And that was pretty hilarious. But there was this footage of this guy Andy Nago, who's like a right-wing commentator guy, and the dude is, in my opinion, just like a colossal pussy. He was attacked with silly string, and he like walks away and he looks like he's been bukkakied, and he just
Antifa does really attack people though.
Yeah, but they didn't attack him. They just really sprayed him with silly string. And maybe there was like some pushing, but I think he was going in the same direction. And he was like, "Don't push me." And she's like, "I'm just walking." Yeah, I really think that it was, in my opinion, something that the dude was doing just to fucking like, milk his Patreon. There's a lot of money to be made by. I'm not saying that fucking Antifa doesn't do some stupid shit, but there's a lot of money to be made by people who kind of like feign outrage by like supposed Antifa violence that wasn't really that violent.
Yeah, it's the same thing that the SJWs did. The alt-right nationalist guys are doing the same tactics. It's what what's her name? Anita Sarkeesian.
Yeah, what about her?
She was doing this same thing where she would milk her Patreon and get all this outrage. It's just the other side's doing it now too. They're catching up. Everybody was speaking out against Anita back in the day, and now they're just doing her same fucking shit. Like a lot of people are comparing what Anita did to what Sargon's going through right now.
I'm no fan of Anita, yet at the same time, I think that she did legitimately receive a lot of bullshit and a lot of threats. Now, whether those threats were credible and she really believed that they were a sincere threat to her life, that's debatable. That's definitely possible. She definitely should have made more material for the money that she got.
I mean, maybe. Like, she got the money regardless, right? Philip DeFranco's still sitting on millions of dollars for a news network that has no foreseeable plans of being deployed.
I didn't hear about that.
Well, it's just the Patreon or the Kickstarter he put together, or whatever, Patreon he put together, something he put together like a year and a half ago to start a news network that could rival with YouTube because YouTube was censoring everything. And he never had the public number, but there was like, I think, over a huge amount of people donating, and like the $5 minimum would have put it at millions of dollars.
I had a question for you, Billy. Did you see Jake the Snake on Joe Rogan?
I watched some of it, yeah.
I watched it all.
Yeah, I had to miss a little bit of it because I was driving, but I watched quite a bit of it. It was really good. Yeah, Jake and Jake has that natural conversation, and Joe
He
Rogan
went pretty
was into
dark
it
a few times.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You see, there was one part where he talked about jamming his finger up someone's ass. He threatened me with that the first day I met him at the airport. It's just it's so Jake.
Really?
That's my guy.
Jake the Snake is the best part of Beyond the Mat. Have you
Beyond the
seen
Mat
that,
is
right?
great.
I think he hates that movie.
I mean,
I think he mentioned that movie and said that they lied to him.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes him look terrible, right? But that was when he was terrible, so it's like
he does come across like sort of a loathsome, but you feel sorry for him.
I mean, but
like
you feel sorry for him, but I mean, you
They
feel
made
sorry for a
one-
lot of those guys,
They
right?
made one that's on Amazon Prime right now. It's The Resurrection.
The Resurrection of Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
Fucking great flick.
If you have Amazon Prime, check it out.
Yeah.
So it's the same people.
No. It's just another documentary.
It's
and
now
on
that he's
Jake's-
cleaned up his life,
Yeah.
you know?
It's a feel good. It's like if
He
you
didn't
watch
find
Beyond the
Jesus, did he? Please tell me he didn't find
He found Diamond Dallas Page, or Diamond Dallas Page found him.
Yeah.
And let him live with him for 3 years while he got clean and taught him how to do the DDP yoga and helped him change his diet so he'd eat better. And then
good
was there for him when he would fall off the fucking rocker. He'd help him get back on his feet. So held him accountable for his actions. Told him that he'd be there to keep him going as long as he was there to keep going. And he fucking did.
He did it
got
for
clean.
he did it for another
Scott Hall,
wrestler.
who played Razor
Scott Hall,
Ramon.
Razor Ramon from back in the day. He was about like both of these guys probably would have died within a few more years.
You would think the way they were going, they would have been one of the names that did die, right?
Right.
Because there's so many wrestlers die, and these guys were notorious for their abuse. And Diamond Dallas Page got them and turned their lives around, and it's an amazing redemption story.
Okay, so he was a wrestler because I've heard
Yeah.
that name before, Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
That documentary does sound vaguely familiar. I might have seen articles about it, like from nofilmschool.com or from somewhere else. But yeah, that does sound vaguely familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, Billy opened up for him at a
Couple months
local
ago.
music club, and
Oh,
yeah.
really? Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. He's
Did you record it?
I recorded some of his performance and I put it up on the Patreon. There's a bunch of stuff on there. There's a lot of like video. There's video of when I went to Vancouver on there, which is pretty interesting. But
On
yeah,
Patreon?
yeah, it's in the Patreon. You know, like all the different videos. You know, you can scroll down in there, and there's stuff going back months and months.
For sure.
But yeah, it was cool with the whole Jake the Snake thing.
But his time on Joe Rogan today was fun. Like Joe seemed generally interested in him,
Yeah.
and kept the conversation going. Tony Hinchcliffe was in there, who's like a big wrestling fan.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, I'm not a big wrestling fan at all. All my wrestling knowledge I've gotten from the past couple of years has been from you guys. So like the whole Jake the Snake and the and the cage situation with 1998. Yeah,
I saw Tony Hinchcliffe when he came here.
Yeah,
when he came to the
I met
comedy
him
club here.
I met him at the Comedy Store down in L.A. and he I watched his set, and he came up to me afterwards because he'd seen me on the TV show I did down there with the billionaire, and we chopped it up for a minute.
I was wearing my Ohio State hoodie, and he's from Ohio.
What TV show with what billionaire was this?
Battle Cam House.
Well, there was a TV station in Los Angeles this billionaire bought and turned it into like basically like a funded public access channel. He'd get all these D-list celebrities and hire a bunch of people. He had me down there hosting and doing other gimmick fucking things for him. He's a Greek billionaire. Alki David is his name. I used to work for him in LA for a while. It was fucking
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it was weird. He's just like this guy with crazy money and then crazy ideas. So
He put them in an RV and had them drive across about half of the country.
we drove across the entire country. We went
Did you get
from-
to East Coast?
Yeah, we went all the way from started in Los Angeles, drove up California, down into Reno, down through Vegas, into across New Mexico, into Texas, from Texas up into Kansas, Kansas City or whatever. We made it from there through like Ohio, through
We have
Pennsylvania.
literally 7 seconds left of the show.
No, we have.
No, I mean, we have as long as we want.
Yeah, and then we made it through New Jersey, and then I ended in New York City, where I flew out of New York City and back to Topeka, Kansas, to fuck with the Westboro Baptist Church.
Yeah,
it was stupid.
That shit was so weird when you ran out of the room naked.
Felt good, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was some wacky shit, and the police always were talking to them all the time.
Yeah, we were wanted in Texas. I'm pretty sure the mob kicked us out of Reno. I didn't stay around to figure out if it was the mob. It was just some guys in suits that were like, "You get the fuck out of our hotel. You get the fuck out of Reno." We're like, "Okay."
For what? What did you do?
Basically, we were doing what Ice Poseidon does, like live streaming IRL.
It was IRL streaming before people had good camera phones to
Yeah.
stream live with. So
The billionaire sent us out there with like these 4G dongles on laptops with webcams on them, and it was broadcast back to a television station in Beverly Hills. It was crazy, and he was having us do all types of weird stuff. We had the police come probably 13 or 14 times on this trip.
He faked a seizure on
the side of I-5 Interstate 5 to try and get the billionaire to buy us another RV, because the RV we were in broke down like 5 times the first weekend we had it. And then we ended up going through 3 total RVs on this trip. It was ridiculous. I think at the time, Internet Alone
guy. I've heard his name a lot, and I know
he's a big streamer. He does in real life streams, right? Like he's one of the bigger streamers on the platform. He averages 20,000 viewers, consecutively.
Yeah. He goes on these long.
Aside from a conversation that he had with Destiny, the only video that I've seen of his is like a porn video. He fucked some girl. Like I just happened upon it on I was on a porn site, and of course, and I saw like Ice Poseidon.
Did you jerk off to Ice Poseidon? Whoa!
No, I did not.
Whoa!
I did not jerk off.
I can't believe Vadim just admitted that.
Sliding on the Poseidon.
I did not. that never happened.
Nice Poseidon.
There was hardly any light in the room, so I couldn't jerk off to him when the girl he was having sex with. So but I was like, oh, that's weird. Like this guy that Destiny had a conversation with shot a porno apparently.
That's not surprising.
It's not that surprising, but I thought he was. I don't know. It's not something everybody does.
He came to Seattle. Do you know who Sam Pepper is?
Yes,
that name does sound familiar.
He came
that
too.
Piece of shit.
Well, he's buddies with Ice Poseidon, and we hung out with those guys.
Red flag.
And we got accused of being racist. It was the most hilarious thing
Not just racist,
ever.
but transphobic as well.
Yeah,
right? Like,
it's something like that.
And it was all because of edgy trolls, and
it was because of those two. I mean, but it was hilarious. I thought
being
it was
edgy.
funny.
I'm like, this is not the city to be edgy in, guys.
Yeah.
Is Ice Poseidon? Is he at all alt-rightish? Like, am I?
I think he's unaffiliated,
not at
right?
all?
He doesn't play identity politics type stuff. He plays into it because he knows it will trigger people, and his entire thing is it's in real life. So you meet people and you fuck with them, so you get the best reaction out of them, right?
Okay.
So it's basically just IRL trolling. You fuck with people to get them to just freak out and make the best content. Ha!
I was looking for that picture that was posted on Facebook, but I can't find it right now. Yeah. I saw another picture where it's like it's Sam Pepper and Hampton Brandon, and then you're like standing behind them. You're like the mundane Matt in this photo.
Just matting around.
So was Sam Pepper kind of an asshole, or
he was probably the nicest one to me. Like as far as being like a polite and friendly person, he was probably like the most friendly one out of all.
He like hit me up the night before, like, we're gonna be in Seattle. You want to come out and hang out with us? So I was like, yeah, because I've been talking to Sam for a while. Ever since the shit blew up with me and Leafy is here, he hit me up and he was like, dude, your music's really.
I understand there's like like things that people have said about him, but my actual direct experience with them was fine. And then and Hampton Brandon, that was another guy a lot of people don't like, but he was really cool too. Like they didn't know who I was, and they were cool with me.
No. I think I know why people are giving me shit for calling him alt-right. I think that the reason why I'm remembering this now, didn't he like very briefly hire JF Garepi as like part of his like on his show or something?
Not that I know of.
Some sort of connection to JF.
No.
And that's what. And then I think he like found out what JF was about and kicked him off. So
I don't think that's true.
That's evidence that he's not alt-right at all. So
I don't know if he's connected to JF at all. I never heard
whoever
that.
the fuck said that, I'm not the kind of person.
I don't
who
think
just
that's right.
Randomly
I don't think
calls
there's
people alt-right.
I don't think there's any truth to that at all.
No, I could see why you'd call him alt-right though, because he trolls along those lines.
I think they're they're talking about Baked
Alaska works with him
Baked Alaska did work for Ice Poseidon for a little while.
It was Baked Alaska. That's right. Okay.
And then Baked Alaska got fucked over because his girl he was with, he was kind of fucking around with.
And she came to town with Ice Poseidon.
Yeah, she turned on him and then was kind of made him look like a little bitch.
Yeah.
So if anything,
it's kind of shitty to hire Baked Alaska. I mean, like it was pretty well known what a piece of shit he was at the time.
I wouldn't say hired. The guy came down and wanted to be an IRL streamer in Los Angeles,
like
right?
Scuff Steve Jobs was gonna bring him in to like manage him and shit. So
because he was a talent, right? They weren't bringing him in because of the MAGA shit. They were bringing him in because he had a following and could bring content supposedly, but it didn't last because he got cucked out early on.
Yeah,
but it's sort of like they have they could decide not to give someone like that, someone who was literally chanting "Jews will not replace us" at Charlottesville, a platform like that.
He got fucking ruined anyway. So the people whose side he wanted to be on basically ruined
the
him.
platform that Ice Poseidon gives these people generally is a platform like the Whack Pack.
Yeah, it is. There's Arab Andy, who was one of Ice, like a guy that
was affiliated.
Yeah, affiliated with Ice
Blessing from Ice Poseidon, and it made him go out and IRL stream, and
now he's in. Well, I think he might be out.
He's in litigation though. He's out of jail, I think, but I don't think he's clear.
He's on parole.
I think so. Yeah, because somebody called in a bomb threat via his text to speech on his.
Yeah, because they go out into public and they have speakers that'll read out the donations and play media files too. And
so he was in the middle of a university classroom with his speakers on, and somebody paid $3 to make the speakers put out a bomb threat over his speaker, and the whole room fucking runs out.
They evacuated like the building.
Yeah, immediately ran like it was gonna blow the fucking building up, and then the police came and got him, and he's over here like, bro, it was a text to speech, it was a TTS, bro. TTS.
And he spent like half of this year in prison.
Yeah, because he's a dumbass.
So.
I don't think that would have happened if it was Ice Poseidon. I don't think he would have just stood there and let it fucking make a public nuisance. I think he would have spoken up. A lot of people are copycats of the format, and they don't know how to control themselves. And then when the cops come, they can't handle the police. It was just stupid. Anyways, Vadim, I want to thank you for coming on tonight. Starlight, anything you want to say?
What's that?
Oh, anything you guys want to say before we go?
No, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I just want to say thank you for having me on tonight. This is my first time ever doing something like this, so I wasn't entirely sure what to expect or what to prepare for. It's been interesting so far, and feel free to check out my stuff on my YouTube channel for Twilight City Studios. I'm an indie filmmaker from the Chicagoland area. You guys have actually streamed one of my stuff, one of my music videos, the Big Kita music video. I'm sure you guys remember that one. The guy kind of looks like,
Yeah. Nice.
Twilight C Studios, is it Twilight C as in the letter C?
Yeah, Twilight City Studios. Yeah.
City Studios. Okay, cool. I'll check it out, man.
Thank you, Vadim. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Billy, for having me on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, thanks for being on, Vadim.
Thanks, guys.
And
pleasure.
Everybody watching, see you Saturday. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah.
I was actually I'm planning to make a short doc about that, like a zero budget history doc with just pictures and stuff like that. So feel free to check that out whenever I get around to doing that.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Peace. Pow shout.
Later.
In the beginning, there was nothing. And then there was the Drunken Peasants Podcast.
Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. Drunken peasants. Drunken peasants. From the strangest corners of the internet, gonna get TP'd by Billy and Ben. You know where you can find them at. Get ready cause they're gonna kick your Drunken peasants. Drunken peasants. Drunken peasants. Drunken peasants.